And I want to say we should be live. We should be live. It's been like 10 seconds or so. Sabah, everybody. Sabah, hopefully you're doing well. Welcome back to the new episode of Notifications Work. Sorry, first time I've had it where it actually does show up. So really nice to actually see that Android 12 does actually follow through with the notification. Sabah, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another episode of Saturday Morning with Tech, or Saturday, basically just our Saturday morning show, as opposed to cartoons. We get a chance to hang out and kick back. I see that we have Chemi's in the comment as well as Nifty 1005. Good morning, Sabaho. Hope you're doing well, or actually good afternoon, depending on where you guys are. It's Saturday, the 28th of February, so it's 2/20/2021. That's a lot of twos in the title, in the date. This week has been an interesting week going on. We obviously had the best of our week episode, Juan Carlos and myself, earlier this week. Gary the fireman in the chat. Good morning. Matt Tyler. Rolando's in the chat as well. Good morning. Hey, guys. Angel as well. So yeah, the Thursday show was actually nice. We got a chance to hang out again as our weekly hangout. And we had a chance to talk about a few things, but it was that day where Android 12 kind of dropped at the same time, as well as NASA, landing a rover on Mars, and there was a lot of kind of information going on at the same time. So to me, that was kind of a big part of the week. But the other thing is, I also kind of shared with Juan that week, or during the video, that the best part of my week was the fact that I get a chance to actually work with Sony on work. There's a segment, part of the Sony Alpha or the B Alpha event that they have live on the 28th, which coincidentally is about a week from now, roughly. And I'll be actually hosting about a 30-minute hands-on and a Q&A with this guy. So it's back. The Xperia Pro is back. I have it for a little bit more time now that I actually can not only have it, but also be able to share it with you. Last time when I had the device, unfortunately, I couldn't tell you guys. We couldn't talk about it. We demoed it on the show. Juan Carlos and I had a live stream. We had him jump in on the live stream. We both had kind of our own experiences there. Vasicos is in the comment. Good morning. Marilyn as well. Good morning. Good morning. Orlando Green's in the comment as well. And Demir is in the chat as well. So really excited. I can't really put it in words, the level of excitement that I have to work with Sony, and not only because it's Sony per se, but it's also because I'm actually a big fan of their products, a big fan of their I would say smartphone technology, or at least focus of what they want to do with their smartphones. The emphasis of Alpha. Like we're talking right now on an A7S III. I've used Sony lenses or Sony gear for some time. I finally did the total revamp to the A7S III once it was announced, because I believed in what they were trying to do with this A7S III, where it was more focused for video creators, as opposed to where the A7 III, which what I was using prior to that, has been more of a B-roll camera for me, or on the go for shows and events. So I technically don't take the A7S III much with me, but we haven't been able to go anywhere. So it's depending on the situation. So what I'll probably say is this. I'm a big fan of Sony, and I love the fact that I get a chance to work with them. My goal is obviously next Saturday there's going to be a 30-minute Q&A and hands-on with the Xperia Pro. We're going to do a demo, obviously, and I'm also going to share with everybody answering questions. So if you'd like to find out some more information, there is a link in the description below to be able to find out more about the Sony B Alpha event, as well as also how to register. Coincidentally, there was a tweet that I saw a couple of days ago. So when I was talking to Juan on Thursday, there is a way, actually, if you register, you may be entered into a chance to be able to win a Sony Alpha, a Sony A1. So that brand new Sony camera that they announced. And you'll be able to basically possibly win one by being a participant. So if you'd like to check it out, I'll try to remember to put the link to that tweet, because I didn't put that link. I put directly the link over. I'm also going to start putting things on socials. I have a couple of, they made a couple of, like, I would say not ads, but like teasers per se, as to, the event, and trying to kind of share the word, and they're going to start sharing those. So I have those, and I'll be able to share those with you guys as well. So yes, that was literally the best of my week, because that got solidified, and we got confirmation submitted. There was a whole bunch of things that have to go on whenever you're working to try to get things going on, and we're still actually doing some more stuff. There's going to be more There'll be more meetings prior to that and preparations, and I think I'm going to be working with one of the Sony Alpha, I would say more technical representatives from Sony, just to kind of work together the show itself. It's a live event. It will be basically I will be logging into it or connecting to it through this system, so it's going to feel right at home. So let's just say that. So yeah, if you haven't had a chance to check that out, please. Oh man, I love those tags. Okay, so Matt's starting it off right. So TK Alpha Bay or Sony Bay or TKR Bay. I appreciate that, Matt. I always appreciate it. And the reality is, it's something that you guys know. I mean, I personally, I use the Xperia 1 Mark II as my daily driver as well. And I also love the fact that I get a chance to play again with the Xperia Pro. Now, the Xperia Pro, we can definitely do a little bit of hands-on. Obviously, the HDMI in is the biggest difference here. It is still running Android 10. There's a few differences between what this Xperia is and what the Xperia 1 Mark II is. And this is not going to be the Xperia 1 Mark III, which that hopefully should be coming up in the near future. So I don't have inputs a lot on that, but definitely really, really nice. Earl Owens is in the comments as well. And then the other thing that also kind of went back into the, I like, see, Gary knows exactly what we're talking about. The beast is back. This is a professional phone. This week, I had a chance to put out a video on, obviously, the Toughbook 33. It's a professional style laptop, and this is the Professional Pro. This is a phone that truly earns the title Pro, because when you think of Pro, it's a device that needs to be able to do something that no other phone, for the most part, can do, and the ability of using ultra wideband for Verizon connectivity. And this one also supports low band for Verizon, so it's not just ultra wideband for 5G. It supports standard, I would say called mid band, low band 5G that Verizon supports, as well as 4G LTE. So spectrum of connectivity, and of course 512 gigs of internal storage as opposed to the 256, and we still have the headphone jack, the same camera setup on the back, a lot of the things that we definitely appreciate, and of course some applications that are optimized to work with the HDMI inputs. So there's a slightly big difference there as well. It's like absolutely Earl is in there as well, jumping in with it. Is Joshua so Vasicos came here from the pocket. So Vasicos is commenting on, so if you guys listen to the Pocket Now podcast, I was on the show yesterday with Josh. We recorded midday, like roughly around noonish. And so the reality is I've gotten into the habit of basically, accounting for roughly that Josh is a late he wakes up late because he stays up late. So those are kind of his style of doing things. So I always set up our meetings around like 10:30, 11. But I also figure that whatever time we set, I add another 30 minutes to it, because I always figure, timing and so on. So Vasicos is jumping in there. It's basically jumping in with that. It's like, is Josh up yet? Because it's 10:30. I don't know. I hope he is, and you never know. We may have a wild sighting of Josh. He was in the comments, I think, last week. And Donald Lozino is saying, exactly, if LG does go away, then, Sony could be the next one. So that kind of really speaks to the fan base that we have between those two companies, because they kind of answer almost something that we no longer can actually rely any of the other manufacturers to cover, right? Like having a headphone jack on a phone that is supported with a quality DAC is so rare now that literally we are gravitating to the manufacturers that are still offering it. So we really don't have not much of an input as far as what LG is going to do in 2021, other than that we saw that teaser with the rollable smartphone. And we'll get a chance to talk also about the Oppo X 2021, because that was the other rollable smartphone that suddenly started showing up in a lot of hands-on videos by a lot of European, specifically French, creators. And that's something that is coming up potentially, or could be coming up this year. But again, the lineup of smartphones that we're looking for are, it's one of those things that, we always appreciate having the ability of looking towards, seeing when they come out. But some of the indicators from those videos are saying maybe they're not coming up till next year. So we'll have to see. But I think it's the fact that we gravitate to LG and to Sony because of those things. Now, Sony obviously has a few more, I would say, focus points to Alpha sensors, because the way they're basically gone in 2020 with their smartphones, we see a lot of influence from the Alpha team. Alpha becomes a very big part of the Sony Xperia. It's almost like it's a Sony Xperia Alpha experience. More than likely, that's what we're going to see in 2021. What we're seeing with the Xperia the Xperia Pro, because this is really the Pro version, is a very big emphasis into mobile photography as well as also mobile broadcasting, and the ability of optimizing your broadcast by using a lens that is obviously a much higher quality lens. And we're talking detachable lenses on a camera, similar to what we can normally see, obviously what professionals will use. So I'm just going ahead and remove the HDMI because I don't want to have a cable flailing all over the place. But we're talking about using a smartphone to broadcast a camera sensor that is a full frame camera sensor like this one. This is the A7S III. Sony was kind enough to send me both the Xperia Pro and the Xperia and the Sony Xperia, and the Sony Alpha A7S III. Now this is, again, these are loaners, but I get a chance to play with them again. The initial time that we looked at them was more for the review. This is mostly for the show. So what I like about the fact is that I'm able to use a full frame camera. Now, obviously, this will work with any camera that supports the HDMI out. It doesn't necessarily need to be Sony. But what I like about the Sony functions that we have here, obviously with the A7S III, is the ability of shooting the content in a form that is just native and more comfortable for me. I'm comfortable using Sony's systems. I have a few sensors or lenses here that I'm able to swap out. Also very nice. Like I said, the new system with the A7S III is definitely much more improved. The menu system is much more improved. We have a flippy camera on the front, interchangeable lenses, and of course, a plethora of options for audio inputs. And based on the timing that I've played with it before, this just feels natural now. This is something that I can literally take out. If it wasn't super windy, I wanted to take you guys outside and walk around and talk a little bit more, but the wind is so bad. There's just like a lot of things flying off, and audio would just be, I'm not going to say garbage, but I'm just going to say you're going to be listening to the wind more than you'll be listening to me. Okay, so let's talk. Oh, and of course, I dropped a few videos in a very quick series. Thursday and Friday, I literally dropped 3 videos on my channel, and then I posted a video on XDA's side, and then we did the live stream with Juan, and then on Friday I did the podcast with Josh. It was a very busy day for sure. Let me see here. I think I'm let me see if I can catch up. Thank you very much, Matt. Matt's saying this is proud of you, TK. Really happy for you, man. And this is awesome, obviously, for the B Alpha show. And I think I just caught that one as well. Okay. Always good vibes. Greg is in the chat. Good morning, Greg, joining us over on Twitch. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm also hoping for you guys to be safe, especially if you guys are tuning in from either somewhere in the Midwest or Texas, all the areas in the U.S. that are basically being hit heavy now with a lot of the cold, what they're calling like an Arctic freeze type of a system that went through Texas, and there was for a few days actually the state of Texas was out of power, and now they're a major part of it, not the entire state, but there's a lot of people getting it back, and now they're trying to get back into normal. So there's definitely a big thing going on there, and obviously, Southern California, we just have winds right now, which sadly no rain, but definitely winds. So Greg's definitely, so he also is running Android 12 now, and not too many bugs. Greg, did you end up doing it with a clean install, or did you upgrade? Did you install it over 11? I ended up going to the clean install and I share your same thing. No major issues for me. My only thing right now is depending on which UI you end up going with, if you go with the new UI for the system settings, let me see if this is here. So Google decided to introduce a new UI. That new UI kind of interfaces with the system. Let me see if I can get that. So you can see it right there. So this one is the new UI. Okay, so it's more rounded. It's more colorful. Not very defined yet, but it seems like a little bit. I'd probably say a little bit sketchy every once in a while. It kind of stutters, but I think that's why it's probably not turned on by default. But yeah, be interested to see what are your experiences with that one. Earl Owens is saying 2021 maybe a good year, maybe a goodbye for Samsung, and hello to Sony for me as well. I really think it's something that we have to kind of really make a decision with our pockets. When you're looking to buy a smartphone, when you're looking to invest in something that is going to last you for years, because we want to be realistic. We don't buy smartphones to buy them and switch them every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes, every few months. We buy them to stick with them, because at the end of the day, you want to have something that's consistent and that produces, or at least keeps up with the needs that you have for your smartphone. Sony for right now and LG have been really focusing on listening to their users and bringing in those user feedbacks into producing a better smartphone, a more maybe more niche market, but in my opinion, at least, it's trying to give us a smartphone solution that is really focused on the user and what they need. I appreciate having those features. I appreciated what Sony did with the Xperia 1 Mark II. Headphone jack, wireless charging, the waterproofing obviously has always been there. The 4K, the 4K display, that's something that is really nice. And then now giving us the ability of using that 4K display on the Xperia Pro as an external monitor to a Sony camera or any other device. For me, just to kind of not to kind of geek up too much, but what I love doing is connecting the Xperia Pro, the Xperia 1 Mark II, as the camera, and using the Cinema Pro application on the Xperia 1 Mark II, output the HDMI input into the Xperia Pro, use that as the monitor, and now I have a very lightweight, portable 4G, 5G ultra wideband system supporting the highest quality sensors that we can use on the Xperia Pro or the Xperia 1 Mark II. So that's very, very nice. And I love what Sony's trying to do. So those are the things I always appreciate, is just Sony's approach to focusing on those. LG does the same thing, but again, LG, we saw some rumors, we saw some internal memos that could potentially be changing their direction. I will say though that there's been a lot of people getting their hands on the LG Wing. That's also a really nice thing to see. So there is some kind of presence still going on. We just don't know what the direction is going, which direction they're going with it. So NIF 2005, people complained about the Oxygen OS 11's new interface, and now we have that. We can't really go too far and basically not obviously address the elephant in the room. Not to say that it was an elephant, but so yes, One UI is very much a one-handed UI implementation of what TouchWiz used to be for Samsung. And the Samsung's basically revamped their entire system. So now we're up to One UI 3.1, I think, with the S21. 3.1. OnePlus last year released their Oxygen OS 11, and the Oxygen OS 11 surprisingly started focusing more on a one-handed experience. I mean, the customizations that we have when we have smartphones that we cannot physically reach the top with one hand. That approach kind of went out the door a few years back. Companies needed to start looking into options to give us options to be able to make it more one-handed friendly, as opposed to always having to use it as a two-hand, like a phablet or whatever. And as NIF 2005 is saying, it's like, yeah, a lot of people gave them some flack for it. I looked at it as, give us the option, give us the ability of just switching between one or the other. And now, of course, at the beginning of 2021, keeping in mind, for reference purposes, obviously, this UI that we're looking at right now was not turned on by default, okay? So Google wasn't intending for developers to start focusing on it. It's available in there, but that's because it's a developer preview. The developer previews tend to have pieces of things that that Google is working on or could potentially be putting in the near future, but they don't turn everything on. A lot of the things, actually, if you guys follow XDA's website on the portal, Michal and the team over there did a banging job knocking out a lot of inputs or a lot of findings in the code or things that are not activated in the system. Actually, even to get this UI that I'm just showing you guys right now, you actually have to either root the system or you need to be able to turn it on using ADB. So by default, there's no toggle for it. So short answer is, it seems Google is looking to go towards that. We saw some elements of iOS, the stackable, widgets. That's something that could potentially be coming to Android. Things like that start blurring the differences between what makes one system better than the other. But to Nif's comment, essentially, if more people or more companies are going down that path, does it really stand out anymore? And it becomes the norm. So I feel like OnePlus was a little bit ahead of the curve. And honestly, the UI element is very nice. It's usable. It's definitely very different. But right now, at least within Android 12, it's very much an early design, proof of design at this point. We'll have to see how the secondary and the third developer preview goes through. The other thing, surprisingly, is Google releasing the first developer preview this early in mid-February, and then also giving us a heads up that the full version of Android 12 will be released along line with the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 5a 5G. Wow, that's going to be an interesting one. The Pixel 4a 5G was a fine name. 5a 5G will be very, very interesting. But yes, so those are the things, and there'll be 4 betas releasing in May all the way through August. So we'll see how that kind of goes. Let me see here. I think I kind of jumped to, okay. The Sony Alpha Xperia Pro Mark 3. Matt is just stacking the titles. Uh, I would be interested to see. So if they do release a secondary Pro, it probably will be more of the Mark 2 because this would be the first Pro. So the Xperia Pro Mark 2 could potentially be a build up on top of what the Xperia 1 Mark 3 is going to be this year. We saw some leaks. We saw some potential images of what the Xperia Pro, Xperia 1 Mark 3 is going to look like. And definitely the headphone jack looks like it's still going to be supported there. The focus may be more on the sensors and the software experience, not necessarily the overall design, because it looked that they're still sticking with the same form factor for the display. More than likely, we'll still have a 4K display. My hope is that we maybe see actual or true 90 hertz support on the 4K, although 60 frames on 4K is still buttery smooth. I don't mind it. What I would probably love to be able to see, which I don't know if the technology behind the display text is capable of doing it, is that give us 4K at 60, but if we drop to 1080 to give us, like, say, a 90 or a 120. I don't know if that's possible with the same panel, but that would be something very interesting if we do get to that level where you can either have the gaming experience and the smart and super really rich colors of 4K on the same device at the same time, and it basically becomes a toggle. But at this point, I'm looking forward to seeing what the Mark 2, well, the Mark 3 has to offer. The Xperia Pro, I want to focus a little bit more. I'm going to do some more content on it next week, since I technically have the phone all through the event, and I'm not sure how soon after that Sony will be knocking on my door to say, please send us the device. But I definitely am looking very forward to it. I will have it again with us next Saturday on the show before the B Alpha event on Sunday. Let me see here. So here, NIF 2005, people complained about Oxygen OS, that it moved away from the stock, closer to the stock experience, and yet later in the year, Android 12 stock does the exact same thing. So we'll have to see if Android 12 does stick with this UI, but yes, what it's looking like, it's more focused on one-hand ability, and it seems like they're using what's currently been working. So they see that, Samsung's system is working, people are accepting it, people are comfortable with it. And if they provided something closer to it, obviously that becomes a little bit easier for people to transition from one system to the other. I probably would have said, look, stick to your guns, use what you have, and try to figure out a new way to do one-handed UI elements. But at the end of the day, I do appreciate having the function, because it is very hard to use these smartphones without having to basically two-handed. And if you're busy, you have to put the phone on the table and kind of work on it. This makes it a little bit easier. But we'll see how it goes. It could, and this could actually even totally disappear from the final version of Android 12, and we maybe just, again, with the standard system UI element. The other optimizations they did with Android 12 were very minor on the UI UX elements that were available. There's a new category inside of the settings tab. There's a few organizational things that they did in there. We have a new feature called lower brightness, or color brightness control. And it seems like we're also looking a little bit more to heavily focus on Google Play Store updates into the system for system apps. So that's going to be a little bit more of a focus for them, decoupling the major updates from basically a major OS update for us to get it. So meaning, if they want to update, obviously we see WebView being updated directly, but we're talking about more core components being updated through the Play Store. So let's see what we have. Oh, bang. Okay, I jumped, and I think oh, wow. Okay, hold on. Okay, Greg's going to switch back to YouTube. Okay, so Anthony Thomas is asking, is the Nord N10 getting Android 11? From my understanding from OnePlus is yes, it is. The question of when it will receive the Android 11, I'm not sure. I know the last update with this, which was about a week ago, they pushed out a security patch update for the N10, but no Android 11 yet. But I understand it based on the conversation that we've had, that they're looking to at least give it one update, software update. So 12 won't be coming to the N10 through OnePlus, but it more than likely will be coming as a part of a custom recovery. And let me see here. Sorry, I'm getting notifications as it is usual with a lot of our shows. Not that I can't confirm or deny that there may or may not be a package coming in. But yeah, so hopefully the Android 11 update will be coming out soon, but I don't remember them giving us a timeline. The N10 and the N100 in the US literally just got announced last month. They've been available in Europe in later part of the year, so I would imagine hopefully within the next few months. So what happens typically with OnePlus, and if they stick to this, which they've done in the last two generations of Android, by the time Android 11, or sorry, by the time Android 12 comes out in beta, so that's the first beta will be released in May according to Google's schedule. OnePlus will be releasing their first alpha, which means they're going to they're really going to start focusing on working on Android 12 optimizations and incorporating them into Oxygen OS 12, which I would imagine is the next build of OnePlus. So once that starts happening there, my hope is that they kind of can get all of these things out the way first, and they can start focusing more on the newer versions of the Oxygen OS build. So we'll have to see, but if that was going to be kind of any indicator, maybe that's what's going to start kicking it off for us. So I'm looking forward to see what OnePlus has to offer us with Oxygen OS 12, because 11 was a big shift. Can 12 continue, or will 12 be another experiment? But we'll see. I appreciate it. Oh, Aditya's in the show as well. Hey, man, how you doing? I didn't see Aditya. Sorry. Okay, so I'm kind of there. Oh, love the other show. Thank you, Donald. Oh, I love the other show. The best of our week. I think it's a success. I think so too. Honestly, hanging out with Juan on a weekly basis, and it's more consistent now that we get a chance to actually have like our catch up. And we talk a little bit before and after the show, as well as during the show. It's a really nice way to just catch up with everybody, and a really easy and focused way for me to hang out with him, and we get a chance to talk. And as we get closer to more of a, hopefully be able to, both get vaccinated and so on and get everything set up, we'll try to work to get more of a in-person kind of an experience at some point, hopefully in the next few months. But yeah, things are a lot of fun. I love that show. It has its own show, its own channel. So if you guys haven't had to check it out, there'll be a link for that obviously in the description below. The best of our week. Also Twitter, Twitch, all of those accounts are all set up right there. Oh, okay. So Greg did the exact same thing. So there's a couple of ways of installing Android 12, and I realized that in the video that I posted a couple of days ago, a lot of people were like, "Oh, TK, we can also use ADB to sideload it." I realized that there's an ADB method of sideloading the operating system, Android 12. That wasn't my intention of the video. My intention is for somebody that has a Pixel that decided to go install it. More than likely, they're not going to necessarily be very comfortable jumping into an ADB install and downloading platform tools and setting it up and transferring the files into the folder. There's a lot of little things that you need to be comfortable doing. So I do appreciate the comments for everybody that did post them on that video, letting me know, obviously, and I appreciate that. And of course, my intention was that if you were going to try it, I'd rather you use the tools and the methods that Google announces on their website, the methodology that also is the simplest, which is basically using the web flashing tool that Google provides us. Very simple, very easy. You do need to basically kind of do a little bit of work towards to get it up and running. But if you wanted to install it as over Android 11, you're more than welcome. Typically, though, that's when most of the errors and most of the problems happen. What makes things unstable is that this is not a full version of the OS. It's not an upgrade version of the OS. It's a developer preview. So the short answer is, if you want to try it out, I'd recommend you doing it on a separate device that you're not using as your daily driver, and you could definitely play with it and have fun with it. It's supported all the way back to Pixel 3. So if you want to go from Pixel 3 all the way to the current version of Pixel smartphones, you should be able to download an image, install it, play around with it. And then when you're done, you can revert it backwards and just jump back into the latest version, I think with the February security patch update on Android 11. So it's fun. So I always like the ability of kind of following that trend in the video, because for the general masses that are looking for Android 12 news, I don't want them to just try to like, oh, this is too much. You know what I mean? So, but I appreciate it. Let me see what else we have here. Clean. Okay. And yeah, so Matt actually is talking a little bit about the video that Austin posted, and I think Juan's been talking about it a little bit more on Twitter. So here, it's basically about Sony and how blind. So the video that was posted, I didn't get a chance to go through all of it, so I don't want to speak too much on it. But from what I understood, at least on the comments, and I think things that were posted, at least from Juan's point of view, is the approach of how people just did not really focus on what the intention behind something. I don't think Sony is trying to, at this point, to focus heavily on selling smartphones, like as if they want to be the next Samsung, they want to be the next Huawei or whatever the next level. Sony's focus is very much tailored to what they want the smartphone experience that they offer to do. Sony's division of smartphones, the Xperia line, is very much now closely coupled with the Alpha because of the way their implementation of everything is done. I feel like just the concerns that kind of went through with that, I didn't get a chance to kind of catch up most of it. I do actually, speaking of, as I'm talking to you guys, I have Twitter sitting here on the right side, and I will probably maybe just jump in with a conversation more on the Twitter conversation with Juan. Mostly because, again, I didn't get a chance to watch his video, but I've been catching up to what Juan's been saying on Twitter. That's how I got wind of it, and I really just it's very interesting to see how people would basically marginalize Sony like this. That was my concern. That the focus on this is, I don't know if it was to bring attention to it, or is it not necessarily that they wanted to kind of just shift blame to something. That's the other concern. But let's see what else we have here. Okay, so Orlando's saying is like it was a mess here in Texas. I was fortunate to keep the power and water, but a lot of our friends and coworkers are still recovering. There's a lot of things going. Yeah, so once the power went out, then the power came back, and now that the power is back, the pipes. A lot of people are having problems with their pipes because of they're frozen. They're trying to trying to rerun water through them, and this just absolutely a whole bunch of problems, and rightfully so, but I'm hoping that the road to recovery can get there very fast, but we'll have to see there. Let me see here. Oh, I didn't actually realize that. So Maryland's from North Texas, spring cleaning today. Thankfully, no damage. Power is back. I'm glad that you guys are doing well. I know at least that some of the folks over at XDA on the portal also live in Texas, so they were also impacted by the power outages. So it's a little bit harder. Let me see here. Yeah, absolutely, man. Matt saying, Orlando, please stay safe, man. Sending us love and prayers, and everyone in Texas here, all the way from the UK. No, it's just hard. It's hard, and it's weird that the weather system is. Sorry. It's like the vortex, the cold vortexes that went through were just so like. It's a massive impact to an economy when the entire towns and cities don't have power, and I think it was like 35 to 45 people unfortunately didn't make it, which is not a small number to say, but the reality is that these are very big impacts into our communities and our obviously in the Midwest for a big part. Hey, look at so Josh, good morning, welcome back. All I have to say is there was a few people asking was Josh up this morning, because I think they just jumped on directly from hold on, let me double check here. Where is the note? Yeah, so they were talking about basically where was Josh up early this morning? Not that they were messing with you, they just wanted to know if you're doing well. Let me see if I can do this real quick here. And sorry, just updating a quick comment here. So good morning, Josh. Hope you're doing well. If you guys haven't had a chance to check it out, Josh and I did the podcast yesterday over on Pocket Now. We talked about a lot of cool things. Talked also about the fact, Joe, I like this. Joe, JV's jumping in up on time this time. You know what? If we have to put it this way, we timed the show, if we have to time it realistically, at 10:30 to help out with Josh. But I'm glad that we're able to have him in the chat and hang out with us, of course, this morning. Okay. So Greg did this. He said, "Okay, I did my Android 12 live on Twitch, but I forgot to turn on the streaming manager, so I'll have to redo the live event." Yeah. But it's good. It's good practice if you think of it that way. At least the next time around, you'll be able to do it much faster. So Jesse's coming in with, my Pixel phone doesn't have call recording or scrolling screenshot features. These features aren't available in other phones, which are available for cost less than $150. This is annoying. Yes, I can agree with you. The way the approach of things, at least with smartphones, the Pixel line of devices didn't get screen recording for a while. So if you think of those in the approach, or if you just look at it from that sense of what is, those features, or do they value them? I look at that as, what they didn't want to implement it as part of the code because they were focusing on something else. But there's always been solutions as far as screen recordings with third-party applications. But as far as scrolling screenshots, I mean, even to today, we see that it's coming as part of Android 12, but it's not totally turned on every device. Like for me, without root on the Pixel 4a here, I wasn't able to actually get it activated all the way. But wait, hold on a second. I see Earl is asking if Josh is awake. Let me see. Hey, Josh.
Hey.
Hold on. While you're talking,
I got to force TK to put some headphones on.
Oh man. Sorry guys. I did not know Josh was going to be on the show, and the way you know that is I didn't have my headset set up. Let me see. I always do this. Hold on. Okay.
I see some of the comments right before I came in.
And now I can hear you.
Right before I came in, someone was asking me what my daily driver is, and I said Zenfone 7 because if you have followed me, you know that I love the Zenfone concepts, especially with the flippy.
Oh, look at that! And you even copied the Cyberpunk, man. You got that in there.
This is just a static wallpaper, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the flippy cams. The Zenfone 6 was a better size for like daily use and whatnot, so I'm a little bit more about that. But with that said, like I love this thing. And then the guy whoever it was in the comments was like, that's an odd choice. I'm like, odd choice. There are so many phones out there. Like what is an odd choice to you? Like what is not an odd choice to you, rather? Like
honestly, that's the beauty of it, though. You get to choose what you want. But from what I've seen with the Zenfone 6, at least, because that's the only one I got a chance. I didn't see the 7. It is a very nice, refreshing option to be able to use the main sensor as the main camera on the front. I just wished that ASUS didn't change the UI element and treat it like a front-facing camera. That was my only thing. That was my why? Like why add that little?
Yeah.
Keep it.
By the way, that same person, if 2005, saying I was rocking a fresh cut. Here's the thing. Some of you may not have known me since 2015, 2016, back when I even went down the road of I went down memory lane and I watched a bunch of old vlogs and old Android Authority videos. So I don't know how many of you actually know that back in the day, I used to do this.
This is actually one of the older cuts.
Yeah, I used to rock a little bun or tie it up. I now have to do that because while I can shave the sides, this doesn't get cut. I don't go out for haircuts. So
so you're manually doing this thing now. It's cool. See?
Mm-hmm, yeah. I got a USB charged like clipper, and I've just been doing the sides myself. I've gotten pretty good at it apparently. So yeah. I don't have shears. I don't know how to cut hair, so I'm not touching the top. And now it's long enough that I got to do this.
Dude, it looks nice. It looks nice. It looks clean, and of course the XM4s look really, really sharp there.
I'm liking it. And you know what? It was funny because when you and I did our show, was it when you and it must have been
yesterday.
When you and I, well, what I mean is when you and I did our show, right before we got on, when I woke up at the same time as today, which is 10:30. When I woke up, I was like, it's really cold. And then during the show, I was like, I'm going to use these headphones. And during the show, I was like, I'm very warm right now. And it's because I'm using headphones. Like this is very nice. So I'm going to start doing this more often.
Has the ambient sound gotten a little bit better?
Yeah, I'm getting used to it. Let's just put it that way. I'm getting used to it. And I have to remember that, as much as I would want to hear everything that's going on in my room, nothing's going on in my room. So why am I paranoid?
I keep telling you, your parents are going to come right behind you and they're going to just basically scare you. A really good one. But it'll be okay.
Credit to them if they can. And by the way, thank you so much for having me on. There were a couple of people asking what I'm drinking. This is another thing. This is what quarantine has taught me, how to make a lot of the things that I like because I can't go out and get it myself. So I make my own milk tea now. So this looks like it's milk tea.
I was about to say matcha milk tea, of course. Yeah, no. Starting it off. We're talking about a whole bunch of things. Obviously, I don't know if you saw the beginning part, but the Xperia Pro is back in the show.
How good is that finish? I love the feel of that phone.
The material on this is like absolutely, like one of the things I loved about it is it feels much more ruggedized in the hand. Not to say that the Xperia 1 Mark II didn't have that, but the sharp edges are not here anymore. This is more rounded. It's like the feel on it looks really better. We have the additional button, which I love, the ability of just launching the application. So like we can unlock, if I can actually do this live. Yeah, fingerprint sensor, always going to be the fun part here. Here. So just the ability of launching the camera app by just pressing a button. That
Oh yeah.
function, yeah. So, and then of course we still have access to the cameras. Let's see here. Can I just taunt the camera? Yep, here we are. I don't have it configured to jump into the other side yet, but
It's such an underrated thing. Like
yeah,
buttons are underrated nowadays.
it's
And
we're also
you know
losing a
what?
lot.
That's another thing. Going down memory lane, I also found the old debate video of any of
Oh, the
you.
button versus gestures.
Yeah.
I think as time goes on, though, it seems like we're losing more and more buttons, and we're getting more and more gestures.
Yeah, I mean, especially for even for me, for something like the Zenfone 7, where it's just all screen all the time. Even when I first set this phone up, it had the nav bar on the bottom, and I will admit one thing: I immediately changed it to gestures so I can have the whole screen. So
And then
it has proliferated.
we also have a much nicer gesture support now. Even with different versions of smartphones, they're adapting to the standard version of the gestures. You know, the swipe up, the swipe and hold, and in the back.
Mhm.
At least you find that consistent across devices. At the time we were talking about, I think that during that debate, there was it was a shortness of consistency because we had OnePlus doing their thing. I think XDA at the time also released their gesture application that I was covering for them. But yeah, you brought back a really like you and I and Juan had a nice one. We should try we should try doing something like that. Maybe
I'll never forget what I thought was my ace in the hole, which was, I'm sorry, TK, don't you use a mechanical keyboard?
we all do.
I rest my case.
And Josh drops the keyboard and walks away. It is one of those. It is one of those fun things to always look at. But I think it's even if we just look at what's going on with Android 12, because we talked yesterday. So if you guys haven't had a chance to check it out, guys, I think it's live, right? Because I think one of the guys in the comments they said I think was it Roland. There was a person that was listening to the show and heard us talking about the waking up on time kind of conversation going on, and then jumped on our show.
Yeah. I got the episode edited and put out pretty much right after we got
Right.
done. So
Dude,
I'm trying to be better about these things, my friends. So just saying. Trying to wake up early. Today is, I mean, it is Saturday, so I wake up just in time for this. But
no, I that's how we do it. Wake up, sit down, get at the camera.
You gotta give me something to wake up for. You know what I mean? So,
dude, absolutely. And just for reference, I wasn't sure if Josh was going to jump on. We just said, look, if he jumps on, we'll talk, we'll try. So I sent him the link and say, hey, can you jump? And he's just sure enough walk in and kind of hang in with us. So the big thing that we were talking about, I don't know if you had a chance to see, but did you see some of those videos about the Oppo X 2021 yet? Have you seen those hands-on videos that have been going on?
no. And you say they're hands-on videos. Is it more of these leaks done at a desk?
What it seemed like, at least from one of the videos the last one I was watching, it seemed like it was more of a PR meetup in more so in France, because a few of them are in French, where they were able to basically go into, let's say, the offices of Oppo or something like that. I'm not sure where, but it was hands-on. It was actually a hands-on of the device, and they did the B-roll at the event, and then went back and did the A-roll at the office, kind of like what we've done in the past, or at least I've done in the past. Huawei used to have a lot of people or something, but the videos look really nice. The mechanism seems realistically like very smooth. The expansion of the display from phone to tablet was very nice. They did say, though, at the end of the video that the UI wasn't actually done. It didn't seem like the software side of it is actually optimized, because whenever they went into tablet mode, the elements weren't going on to the right spot. The settings tab doesn't expand to the right way. Split screen only works on half when the device is actually being used in standard like portrait mode, not in landscape. So depending on how you're using. So it seems like not a final product.
Wait, clarify for me which product this is again.
The Oppo X, this is the Rollable X.
The Rollable X. Okay, because I was just looking up Find X, and I was like, hold on, it's gonna be
no. We're talking about. Hold on, let me see if I can share this side. Can I do this?
What's the name of this device? Is what I'm trying to.
I think they're calling it the Oppo X 2021.
Oh,
right?
okay. So there's no find is the
No,
point.
no, no. Yeah, I think Find kind of went out the door with it. Let me see. Can I bring
There
this?
you
Yeah,
go.
so this guy. Let's see if can we make it bigger? Yes. And the video is playing. Okay, good. So yeah, you can see it right there.
That's pretty sick.
That is very very nice, and he does. I think I think he spent like 30 minutes just doing that, expanding and unexpanding the video, and of course then it goes into boot. But not that I want to show his entire video and take credit for it. The gentleman that I'm referencing, I'll try to put the video for you guys, the link in the description if you'd like to check it out. It was very nice, very promising, at least from what I was thinking about it. He did say that it seemed like more that this one is going to be more of a 2022 phone, not necessarily a 2021. I don't know. I want Oppo to release it this year. I want them to be, take us to the next level. The hardware seems to be there. Seems more of a software kind of a solution, which I can't imagine it being that long of a process for them to run. Um, but I don't know. So for me, I know you used foldables not that long ago with the Z Fold 2, and surprisingly, you felt better about it at the end of using that. Do you see yourself possibly, do you like the foldable or rollable? Is that maybe, do you have a preference as far as designs?
I think rollable is, I don't know. Okay, maybe it's because we haven't had one yet, but I think
Mhm.
rollable is more exciting right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Foldables have been nice. I think that my favorite foldable is still the Z Flip, honestly, because we have had time with the Z Fold and the Z Fold 2, and I just came to the conclusion, and to the dismay of some people in the comments of the Pocket Now video, I made it very clear that I'm like, I just don't see myself needing this.
Mhm.
And in a world where where need has to trump want,
I
need
think
has to
it
be
does.
more than want, especially nowadays. I just don't see myself needing this device. So that was where I kind of landed. Meanwhile, the Z Flip actually addresses a need, which is phones are too big.
Yeah.
But
And
that
it gives you
said,
the best of both worlds. Yeah.
that mechanism, the way that it literally just grew in his hand. That
Yeah.
was cool.
The design on this and the approach. So the way it works seems like, at least, let's just switch back real quick to the picture. The way they're, let me see if I can get it to, can we get it? Okay. So the way that the mechanism works, at least at this point, where his thumb is resting on the right side of the screen, there's a button that you either double press on it, so, or you press it, I think, or press and hold, and it releases the mechanism to actually expand, and it does literally expand. Basically, the mechanism is crisscrossed bearings that, when you're closing it, kind of close to each other, and when you expand it, it just stays in that form, expanding to the right.
Hmm.
So it looks really nice. The UI elements look very interesting. I mean, obviously it's Color OS. It's I'm not sure if it's Color, the current version, or something new, but definitely I'm interested. They also seem to have, I don't know why they have Chrome Dev Edition installed. There's a few more images here where they post at least the function of it here, so you can see. Let's see if we can get this to run correctly. I don't want to here. So you can see it's like rollable wise, it scrolls, it expands. There's shortcuts sitting here on both sides. If you notice on the right side, there's a little bit of this is the gentleman, by the way.
Yeah, shouts out. He's got some good looking videos.
Oh yeah, Brandon le Procteur, the Proctor. But yeah, it seems like this was done at their PR company.
There,
Oh,
I was
so
actually
this is the
looking for
back.
that. I was waiting for a look at the back of the phone. Like,
Yes,
that
so
looks pretty dope.
that does actually, and that is clean. That is a clean system set up there. Like that, the full, like even when it expands, it has the design just accentuates it. I didn't see any cameras on the front, so obviously all of the cameras are going to be on the back, or maybe a pop up mechanism, maybe at the top part here. But we didn't get it. I don't think he showed us the top part of the phone. Like at no point does he show us the front from the top end or the bottom end for us to actually kind
Yeah,
of get a
not
good view.
closely at least.
Yeah, no. I think if I'm not mistaken, he had some B-roll from. So here, this is their store. He was talking about like some of the compatibility where like it didn't really look, and he's using a Z Fold 2, of course, as he's talking about. Why not when we're in folds? Why not? Oh, here. So this was him bringing in the video. That's so the transition elements are not 100%, but it definitely, like he was playing one
Well,
of
I
his
mean,
older
of course.
videos.
I mean, the thing is, like, you can't stretch content that's not UI based.
Exactly. Yeah. No,
So
no,
it,
I
ha-
know.
it has to do what it has to do.
It's his
Um,
face kind of goes a little long, but yeah.
so this is definitely. It seems that there were a lot of like European things going on because it's not just that video. There's also a German site that did
I
it.
was. That's what I'm saying. It's. I feel like
Which makes
somehow
me feel like I'm gutted now because this past, was it November or December, would have been Oppo's Innovation Day,
they did. Yeah.
and it was at that particular it was at the invite of Oppo that David Amell, myself, and
Hmm.
Issa and myself in particular, we were able to sort of break the news that they had that under display front facing camera. So
I
this would
remember.
have
Yeah.
been the piece. This would have been the piece of news from Inno Day, and I'm so gutted because we would have been there. I would have been able to give more perspective on this.
Oh, and you would have been able to hold it because they had actually a unit on the show floor
Well,
during that time.
we had to wring their arms a little bit to let us take the phone off the stand that had the in display camera. But yeah, once we did, everyone else did, but we were able to do it first.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I know.
but it was really dope. I like this. This is, I don't know. This to me is a little bit more exciting because let's put it
Mhm.
this way: you always have to look at phone innovations and how it will affect bigger things.
Mhm.
So if we have foldables that already like curved displays with like the LG, like
So
the
the,
G4 and the Flex, that became what, curved displays like the monitor I have right now, like the monitor
yeah.
that is behind TK right now. And then we have foldables, which may not translate a whole lot into like TVs and monitors and stuff like that, but it did help recreate a sort of love for the tablet form factor. Rollables, like LG already has like that one rollable display that comes up. We saw it at CES.
I think a few
Um,
years back. Yeah. Exactly.
mhm.
It's they've had that with their in their TV departments before.
Yeah. I would love something like this for like a television so that, you can just make it small. I don't know what the utility would be, but like if you have to make it smaller to fit in a smaller space or something like that. I don't know. But
I'm
I,
imagining more of the Asian, like Japanese, Chinese communities where space is a little bit more at a premium. Having something that converts into a full size, let's say 60 or 80-inch TV, and then very nicely conceals into an actual box at the bottom.
yeah,
I
that's what I'm
could
thinking as
totally
well.
see the design. Yeah, because in our homes in the US where we technically have a little bit more square footage, that technology ends up being more of a design choice, but not a necessity. We mount our TVs. Like for me, my TV is mounted on the wall, and both of these monitors are mounted. I don't have them sitting on their own stands. So, uh, yeah, LG has definitely been proving it. But Oppo, LG, and TCL.
Yeah, yeah.
TCL is going to be jumping into this conversation very soon.
As well, you just got a super chat, but I do want to
Yes.
quickly mention one thing. Just Gregory brings up a good question
Yes.
that came up early on with foldables, and
Absolutely.
we still have like maybe mixed reactions to it or mixed results to it.
We have high quality brushes now. That's what we have now.
That's what we have. Fragility of something like this,
Yeah.
dust or not, but fragility in general, like it's still a question, like a rollable display. So if you have a display that literally rolls off the side and then you wait for the mechanism to expand or contract, what if you drop it at all on any
And
part of the
while,
phone?
yep. Not only that, my only other thing I noticed that in the video, nobody was talking about the feel of the display panel, like the back of it, because it's rollable. It's expanding from one side to the other. How is it? I mean, do you feel the ridges in the back? Is it protected? Because that's the mechanism that I didn't really get a chance to see. I see how the expansion and contraction of the back mechanism opens up,
Hmm.
but how does it feel behind the display? Is it sturdy enough?
Yeah, that's a
Definitely
good
no
question.
crease, which is really nice because technically the display never ever folds. So
Yeah, it doesn't like
that's
bend or anything.
yeah, it always sits in the right spot. So I like the approach there because it gets rid of that. I like the fact that it's simpler for us to start having cases for these type of devices that are more usable. I can see a case that mounts on the side of the mechanism, and the rest of the body of the phone gets protected, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
But it also doesn't, it solves the problem of having that double sandwich, the two phones on top of each other, the stacked method.
Yeah.
One likes to say that the Z Fold 2 looks like it's two smartphones. Um, but yes, no. So Aditya, as always, our Benedict hashtag Benedict Cumberbatch Aditya Nil. The gestures versus button debate was the first time I was introduced to both TK and Josh. Incredibly grateful for Juan for introducing me to both contents on hashtag TKRV, of course hashtag JFTechT. We need a better hashtag for Josh. I don't know, Josh. What do you think?
What kind of hashtag would you? The only hashtag that I feel like is funny, but it's not something that I do a lot, is sweary JV. Because when I get upset enough on a show and I start, or if I get loose enough on a show,
I was going to say, yeah, depending on the level of how comfortable JV is.
Well, that was sorry, Josh. There you go. That's what I need to just put in. But that's one that's funny. But that only comes up if I'm like on certain shows or if I'm upset enough. Shouts out to Across the Podcast for revealing to the world that version of me exists. But yeah.
No, it always it's fun to be able to see the different sides of any creator, because you get to really know them on a personal level. So
I think some people were expecting me to come into this show with some of that craziness, but I just can't when I'm around you, first of all. But the because we just have just good vibes in these shows, and the credit to you for always exuding that. But yeah, I woke up this morning with very little patience for for dumb comments, and I've been responding to one particular person this morning. So,
oh, dude, no. Hashtag Mr. T. Could be a play on Mr. T from back in the day, the A Team, and of course, as he's drinking tea, and he says maybe. So I don't know.
I'm not getting a mohawk. Let me tell you that much.
Dude, it would be so cool though on a thumbnail if you ever do that. It's like, what did I do to my hair to get this camera to work? No. So those are the things that I've been really kind of like focusing on, the big part. I also kind of mentioned about the B Alpha event next Sunday.
Oh, and by the way, congratulations,
dude,
for being a part of that. Yeah.
I was super stoked that they asked, and not only that, we finally finalized the agreements and everything like that. So when I was talking to to Juan a couple of days ago, I told him that was my best part of the week. Even though we had a lot of other cool tech that we were talking about and dealing with things, but solidifying and getting that actually to happen, and that we are a week away from it, I'm starting to having a little bit of like, I'm a little anxious for it too, you know. So it's a live event. It's 30 minutes. If you have some time, please make sure to check it out. There'll be a link in the description below, of course, to sign up for it. And it seems like they're going to be, it sounds at least from their Twitter account, they're going to be giving out a Sony Alpha camera as to one of the people in the show. So if you're free, check it out.
Yeah, I will be there.
I'm not qualified. When I saw that, I reached out back. I said, can I just go ahead and be part of the show? I don't have to be on the thing. It's just, I want to qualify for the camera. It's a cool, I think it's an A1. So it's
I'll be in the comments like, here for the camera.
I'm here for the camera. I like it. No,
I have a story actually, because TK, yourself, and some other fellow creators that I know are very deserving of being part of this Alpha team, which is a dope name, by the way. Team Alpha.
We are.
Is it Team Alpha or Alpha Team?
It's I want to hashtag team. Yeah, it is Alpha Team. I think it's the Alpha team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're very deserving, and here I can prove why. So, TK has done a lot of content with Sony Xperia devices. I have been able to start doing them more often, which is great to be able to do, because it has been a long time since before the Xperia 1 and 5 Mark II. The last time I touched an Xperia phone was back when I was with Android Authority. It's been a long time. I'm happy with the Xperia 5 Mark II. I actually have my own unit of it now, so I'm happy that I have it. Yeah. So awesome. That's the other reason why I have these, is because it came with it. Nice. But here's the thing. They did send me, oh God, I'm going to admit this on the show. They did send me the Xperia Pro.
Nice. Actually, you did mention it at the beginning, kind of.
You'll notice that I didn't have any content on it. Besides being busy, which is a very typical excuse, I was also just kind of going through some mental stuff for the past few weeks. So I'll admit that right now. But then I was emailing our contact, and I was like, because let's put it this way. I don't know if I can put this, I can give people a peek behind the veil a little bit. They sent me the Xperia Pro, but I did tell them before they sent it that I don't own a Sony camera. So
yeah.
In the package was the Xperia Pro and an A7S III.
So you got this. You got the same setup.
I got the whole setup.
You got the whole thing. Yeah.
I was so excited. But as per usual with Sony, they don't give you a whole lot of time with said products.
Knowing
that, I was using the stuff. By the way, A7S3, pretty dope camera. I will admit. I had to email the contact and say, thank you so much for sending the stuff. I have used it, and it's all great, but I just haven't had any time or honestly energy to make content on it. So that's why I have used the Xperia Pro. I have used the A7S3. I just wasn't able to make anything. So apologies not only to them but also to my viewers that I wasn't able. I just couldn't get myself to do any of that stuff. I was going through some stuff, let's just say. But they did say that later on, we'll just put you back. We'll just round it back to you at some point. So I will get it at some point.
Yeah, no. For me, if it wasn't for the B Alpha event, I don't think I would have had my hands on it back again this quickly. It was more because it's typical for devices that we get access to early that we have them for a short amount of time, and with Sony devices, there's not a lot. So typically, they end up going from one creator to another, and so the short answer is there's a queue. So that's the best way to describe it. So hopefully. I know you and I talked about hopefully in the future, if we get a chance to get our hands on that, we'll get a chance to go maybe take some pictures. Sadly, not everything is open yet, but I would have said maybe next Friday we could have hung out or do something, but let's see what we could do.
Hey, I already gave you the perfect opportunity because I'm a member of the LA Zoo now.
You're a member of a lot of different places, man. I'm
looking for more
in LA. Yeah.
I'm looking for more. I think at some point by the end of the year, I might be part of like a country club and I'll start golfing or something. I don't know. By the way, I'm terrible at golfing.
But no better way to start practicing and getting better than getting a country club membership, man. That's the best way to. There's a few places going on. Joe's. So here it's a TK #TK Alpha Bay. We gotta set it up, and of course, que bueno amigo Gio's in the comments as well. It's nice. It is definitely a very. You could feel the differences between the Xperia 1 Mark II and the Xperia Pro. The one thing I really missed on the Xperia Pro is the fact that it's still come out with Android 10. I was wishing that it came with the features that the Xperia 5 Mark II have. That was a little bit like the 4K 120. That was a feature that I would have loved to have on this, as just because of the features that came in there. But Android 11 at some point, once we get that, I know my Xperia 1 Mark II doesn't have it, and the Xperia 5. I think is still on Android 10, right? It didn't get updated, or did yours get updated?
Honestly, I haven't really. I don't think it did.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think it did, but I haven't used it in a bit, so maybe there's an update waiting for me to hit go. Every other market other than the US market for some reason I think is receiving the Xperia 1 Mark II's Android 11 update, which by the way includes a feature to incorporate HDMI input with an adapter. So that feature is coming to the Xperia 1 Mark II and potentially to the Xperia 5 Mark II. So not just the Pro, but that HDMI in. It won't have obviously the native port support that we have at the bottom. Yeah,
and I don't think they're going to get.
Okay, so I did not test this on my Panasonic, which is what you're seeing right now, but it's still just an HDMI connection, right? I could perceively use it on this Panasonic as well, or any other camera.
Absolutely. It is not an Sony to Sony conversation. It's a HDMI input conversation. So
exactly.
The only thing that I would probably say is from the settings point, at least for me, I had to downgrade the connection to 1080p at 30 frames per second as opposed to 2160 because for some reason I had some problem with certain apps. But the main thing I also think they sent this a little bit early for me is so that I can work out all the issues so that in the hands-on everything works perfectly. And then I think I don't know if your unit support sub-6 5G, or is it just like the early units I had a chance to play with didn't have sub-6, it only had ultra wideband.
I don't know because during that time I was just Wi-Fi.
It's always at home.
Always at home. So that's the problem. Is like for example on my daily drivers, I so seldomly see the 5G icon, so I'm just always on.
No. Because if you're home, yeah, you're right. I mean, why would you want to worry about changing signals? So those are some of the things that are kind of like going on, and I think the biggest thing also we talked about you and I was, I think also that MWC is going to be somewhat working on changing going back. I guess maybe that's the one thing we had a long conversation. So if you guys want to listen to that part.
Bad idea.
It was a bad idea. That's the summary of the piece there. It's a very interesting approach to try to make it feel like that it's okay, that we've progressed enough that things are going to be fine. I'm still looking forward to trying to see more information as to what's going to happen realistically in that manner of what they can do
Oh,
to
bro, look in the comments, my man.
hold on, let me see here. Davin. Oh my God, who is this guy? He looks familiar. He looks kind of cool. I like it. I like it. Senor Fisher's in the comment. Man,
Cheers
how are
to
you doing?
the Mr. Mobile.
Mr. Mobile himself. Good morning.
I
Good
gave him so
morning.
much crap when he gave me his social handle, and it's the Mr. Mobile. I was like, oh, the Mr. Mobile. Okay.
Dude, absolutely. Oh my God. Michael Fisher's in the comments, of course, as you guys know, Mr. Mobile, hashtag the Mr. Mobile, hashtag some two phone, I forget. I think his
Captain
original
Two
handle used
Phones.
to
Yeah,
capture
back in
two
the day.
phones. Dude, he used to actually have
Hmm.
two phone holsters on there and carry the phone, of course. Fellow nerds,
Which is yet
everybody.
another thing, which is logged in with the wrong.
Damn it, I'm sorry, boys.
Which, you know what, I do. That's another thing. I was telling Michael, since you're here now, I'll just recap real quick. That I was telling TK that I was going down memory lane, watching a lot of old vlogs, a lot of old podcasts, and one of my favorite things to do nowadays is reminisce and watch all the old podcasts that I used to do for Mobile Geeks, for Android Authority, and a lot of them include Michael. So I'm talking 2015, 2016 MWCs and IFAs, where we were like, those were some of the best times where we all were just talking in that room with Nicole, with Sasha Pallenberg. Like, these are all names that we don't really hear a whole lot anymore, unfortunately, but they have moved on to bigger and better things. So, like, really, really happy for them. But I look back on those shows and it's just such a good time. It was just such a great time. And he did wear those holsters on one of the shows. So,
I, I honestly, so back in the day was like around the time when he started holding those two holsters is when a lot of people started kind of having that debate is, do we carry two phones? Because I carry two phones all the time. I mean, typically it's a work phone and a personal phone.
mm,
And now it's also more about the review and, whichever you're using the smartphone. So you're having always to carry two. But he really made it into a cool factor as opposed to being that, well, that's the guy that carries two phones, to the having the holster, the look, and as typical. I think even at MWC at one point he was rocking those with I forgot the name of the phone, the clamshell phone that he did a hands-on with, that never became. It was a leather back, very nice smartphone. I forgot. I don't know if damn straight, two phones for life. Always, always, always. I forgot the name of that phone, but yeah.
Though I will say, on the two phone thing, it does typically end up being an iPhone and an Android phone, obviously. But also what I will give credit to for the Zenfone 7 is that it got me off the iPhone. Like, I don't look at the iPhone pretty much at all anymore. And the only time I need to look at the iPhone is if Clubhouse things are happening without me. Like, that's the only thing.
Clubhouse has been a big part this week. I've gone on. The LG West, the LD West, the LD West. Yes,
I still have one that he gave me. It's in one of my drawers, and it was one of those things that we really connected on. Like, yeah, here, like, use this one. And I was like super happy that he gave it to me. And then soon after that, it started to get a little weird because, especially if you walk into CES with those holsters on and all the security is looking like, what is, like, no. It's like, no, don't do that. Because it looks too much like a regular holster and you have to explain to them, no, they're just phones, but still it's a little too weird.
it is. It was a very nice, the design was really good. Josh, your hands-on made me eager to try the new Zenfone whenever it drops itself.
It's a great time. I will say a couple of weird caveats. There's an odd thing, and the Zenfone 6 did it as well a couple years back, where when you flip the camera over, for some reason it turns on like front-facing camera processing, even though it's the same sensors. It's weird. And so there's that. And then the other thing that is a bummer is that even without a case, this does not fit in the Razer Kishi. It's too big. It's too wide of a phone.
Actually no, like even, oh wow, that is actually, so it's too long. I never really saw how and you have the Pro, right? Not the regular one. Did you get the Pro? Is that why?
There's a Pro. Oh, no. They're the
there's two
same exact size. The 7 and the 7 Pro are the same exact size, but they don't fit in the Kishi. So I've gone back to my other favorite thing. When you follow a link from Twitter, it defaults to the first Google. Oh, yeah. So Still, it says Michael Fisher, so it's still him. I mean, it's
It,
just a different account.
it's exact. No, I know. I think somebody they're just they're it's a bad pun, but they're joshing with them. Sorry. Then it is. It's always the defaulted one, but no, it's one of those really nice, like this the approach to the smartphone from Zenfone from ASUS. There's rumors that the Zenfone, not the Zenfone, the ROG Phone 5 may be coming very soon also. So
Oh
ASUS is
man, I
putting in a
wanted to
lot
ask you about that on I wanted to
on the
ask you
show
about
yesterday.
that on the show yesterday. Like, I know that there's this funny like running joke about you and ROG phone, but like, can you believe we're on 5 already?
I can't believe like number, the fact that it's still around. That's first. That is an testament to, right, just the fact that ASUS is doubling and working on it. And I love that they stuck with it, because they really, like, after the first Razer phone, they came out, right, and then Razer kind of went away, and they end up being the de facto, like the standard. I would think like the gold standard when it comes to gaming phones. And I still use the ROG phone too. That's our gaming phone in the house. My son's probably actually playing games on it right now in in the living room. It's
Genshin, Genshin.
Genshin. I need to. If I get him on Genshin Impact, though, I'll never be able to get him off of that. He's very big on Fortnite. Finally, Fortnite also started supporting higher refresh rates on the ROG phone too, so it's been really nice. But dude, the haptics on that, the display, the panel, everything on this is very, very nice. I love the fact of what it has and what ASUS has been doing. So I wish they would fix the front-facing camera. I really wish they would just keep the front-facing experience the same as back-facing, give you the 4K, don't jump to 1080. But it's still really nice, clean display and clean UI element. I think everybody's in the comments jumping in on, Josh Quinones is in the comments. uh, yeah, Josh Q in there. Skip number 4. It is. I know it goes into one of those, but um, it's one of those things that you always have to kind of appreciate. So hopefully we'll see Android 12 come out. But if we see more, I guess what I was trying to figure out with the Android 12 conversation originally is a lot of the things we saw with it, we talked about a little bit yesterday with the new UI and new elements and the new security updates and under the hood kind of stuff. My hope is that we start seeing some of those come up to those devices. Like when, at least 11, the market penetration for Android 11 is so small that we haven't really seen the approach that we've seen with other operating systems like Android 10. A lot more people have it. People were asking about Android 11 on there. But yeah, Michael's sorry. So he changed that. Yeah. Now it's the right account. Mr. Mobile # Michael Fisher.
He came back in.
He came back in with the right account. Regarding gaming phones, I just came across all of the Razer phones, and I missed the days when they were cranking. And I found my Razer phone too, and it's received so many security patch updates all the way up to November of 2020, but still no Android 11. Actually, no, even not Android 10.
Not even Android 10, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, they're few steps behind.
Honestly, I feel like Razer should just pivot again and just try making, because, okay, we have specifications that are actually made for games, and we also have games that will take advantage of said specifications. So, like, if Razer were able to come back and actually have, like, just go all in on it, put fans, make crazy cases, like the Razer cases that they make for other phones, like the S21, they're actually pretty great. Like, they're actually pretty good cases. I like them a lot. And there's something to be said about having that green snake icon, and it just, I don't know, you feel it. Like Razer's done such a good job in having a loyal fan base and good branding for that fan base. But I don't know, maybe make a Razer phone with like Snapdragon 8. What's the latest 87? What was it again?
Yeah, so there's the 888, the 870. 870 is the rebranded 865 Plus.
Whichever one of those gets a plus. Is that put that in the phone, go nuts with the RAM, and just like, I don't know, because Kishi is already they already did a partnership with Genshin Impact for the fact that it on iOS will take controllers now.
Yes.
And once it happens on Android, like I hope they do it again with Android. Like these are the partnerships that we need to see. This is the reason why I did my video on the OnePlus Cyberpunk phone. Like these are the partnerships that make a lot of sense, and we need to see more of them.
Absolutely, that 8T Cyberpunk edition is by far one of my like most memorable devices of 2020 because it's a very unique smartphone to start with. The 8T, the end of the year, not necessarily the best specifications. but having it with the Cyberpunk edition and the package that came together, the whole experience, you had the map of the city coming in the back of the box. You have the pin collection that comes with it. It was just so well thought out, and reminds me of the one that you did with the Oppo Find X2.
The League of Legends.
The League of Legends, dude, that entire unboxing experience. It's exciting. That's the box you never throw away. You keep the box because you always want to be able to open it up and have the phone rise up from the box. That is just, to me, absolutely. And Oppo's been doing it for a while. I mean, they had an Evangelion one before then.
Yep.
But a lot of them are mostly configured for Asian markets or even European.
Well, I get it. Like, copyright laws in Asia / China mostly is much more lax than here, obviously. But still, it'd be great to be able to see some stuff like that.
I want to see more, but yeah.
Let's see. Oh, here we go.
So the professional question, though, do gaming phones still need to exist? Would love to hear your thoughts. So I will let you go ahead and go with that one first. Yeah, why not?
Increasingly, yes. Right now, maybe not, but increasingly, yes. Games like Genshin and Call of Duty Mobile are the vanguards of the high performance gaming on mobile. Those are the examples. Increasingly, though, if you follow the gaming, if you follow the game industry, there are more games that are going to come out that probably will have the same types of requirements, let's say, of high end. Because let's put it this way. If gaming phones didn't need to exist, then I would be able to play Genshin Impact on the iPhone 12 Pro Max at max settings. I cannot. It still lags. It still has some problems. And that's just because high refresh rate immediately brings down the performance of that game to like very low levels. High refresh rate, or rather high frame rate. High frame rate's hard. High frame rate is hard for just any phone to do. So things like that will create the need for more gaming phones in the future. That's the reason why ROG is now at 5. I know that they skipped 4, but ROG phone is now at 5.
I was going to say, we realized that 4 isn't. Yeah.
But there will be other phones that have the requirements that these games will need. Or some other examples of games, like someone would just mention Diablo. I know that they were talking about Diablo 2 Resurrected, but there's a Diablo. Is it called Immortal? Diablo Immortal? And increasingly, Nintendo was supposed to be the other company that was making many more games for mobile. They kind of petered back a little bit, to be fair. But they at some point in time, they had Dr. Mario Kart Dash, I think it was called. And I know it's not a intensive game, but Fire Emblem was there. They were making a lot of properties for it, and I think they still will. So they will in the future. So I'm certain. In my opinion, I am certain that gaming phones will be needed in the future. They will still have that niche market for sure.
It's a specific designed smartphone, and so the ROG phone that we talked about obviously culminates, I feel like, the higher end market of the smartphones when it comes down to gaming phones. But you get Red Magic that also jumps into the gaming scene as well last year when they released the first Red Magic 3 or Red Magic 5, I think, that one that went up all the way to 144 hertz. We typically don't see standard smartphones trying to be more experimental. We see gaming phones experimenting with new features. The triggers on those smartphones are actually very functional. Those are things that I really didn't think I would appreciate till you customize them and get them into a gaming experience. Fortnite, PUBG, any kind of like first-person shooter, customizing those buttons. Cooling mechanism also, if we start looking at what the 888 has been doing a little bit with some of the other smartphones that we've seen, overheating concerns, that's when you get a gaming phone to give you better thermals, better thermal control, vents, an actual fan in the system. I don't think it'll be as popular as far as a smartphone as, let's say, your standard, probably, I would say like a standard candy bar style smartphone, like what you normally see. But there's a need for it if you really want to be competitive. Playing games at that high refresh rate, getting a phone that can last with a 6,000 milliampere battery, like that phone lasts my son like 6 hours solid if he actually gets as much into that. But we can play games for hours, no heating issues, no performance problems.
Yes, very true.
And those are the things I like about them. I just think most standard smartphones don't focus on that. They'll give you a gaming experience, but that's not the focus of the phone.
Yeah, they need to. These manufacturers, if they're going to make gaming phones, they need to realize that the audience that they're looking for is us. We are the tech enthusiasts who probably are mobile gamers. So we are the people to send it out. And the reason why I say that is because a few people are talking about the Lenovo Legion. And here's me saying, no ill will towards Lenovo. All I'm saying is, Lenovo, we could push your Legion phone. You just need to give it to us. Stop giving us yogas and like ThinkPads and stuff like that for review units. We want the Legion, and I wouldn't know about the Legion if it was. I would not even think about the Legion if it wasn't for like a chat like this where they're saying, check out the Legion phone, check out the Legion phone. Well, we want to, but Lenovo doesn't want to give it to us for some reason. I've never been offered a Legion, even a laptop.
It's one of those you gotta. I guess honestly, it wouldn't be a bad idea to reference this. Just like, hey, dude, look, people are asking about it. There is a demand. There is a reason, and I really feel like we need to be able to try to see all the other options. And I think Lenovo, if they are bringing something like that, they need to basically allow other creators, especially like you guys that tend to like, Mr. Mobile's right, bookmarking Call of Duty Mobile for when he plays on the ROG Phone 5. Absolutely. Call of Duty has been improving quite a bit on their mobile side. And playing it on the smartphone is almost as the experience is very, very close to the desktop experience. They're using similar maps, similar tactics, and of course, game passes and so on. You definitely are not going to be disappointed.
Also, there's one more layer to the "Are gaming phones needed?" question that we as Westerners never really talk about. And I say Westerners because it's literally, it's a thing. Like, it's a thing in the East, in especially Asia and in India. Esports, we don't talk about esports on mobile here in the US because it's not that big in the US. Esports is more Call of Duty Warzone. It's more that kind of stuff, or fighting games on console. But in Asia,
or League of Legends.
Or League of Legends, in Asia, though, there are games that there are mobile games that have the same market pull as a League of Legends here in the US.
Yeah,
Were you there during one of the phone launches? I don't think you were there, but that's another vlog that I saw from my walk down memory lane.
How far back did Josh go this week? That's
exactly.
Where
I went as far. I went to even like early days of Android Authority. That's how far back I was like watching stuff. But anyway, there was a vlog I did and videos I did at the Black Shark 2 announcement.
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't. Yeah, no, yeah.
So even in that announcement, there was an esports wing, and they were playing a game that none of us here in the US even know of. I don't even know the name because it was in Chinese. But that is one of the biggest games in Asia, and these guys were just going nuts and what I found so funny was they had like the controllers and all of these peripherals and all that. No, these guys are like
on the phone,
claw fingered, like doing a billion things at once. It's nuts.
I had a chance to Honor. So around the V10, when the V10 was first launched, Honor sponsored a competition, an esport competition, and they did it in France, where there were basically, and I think it was, if I can't remember the name of the game, but the event was entirely sponsored. They had the stage set up correctly. Everybody was playing. They had HDMI outputs from all the smartphones. And it was truly an experience to sit there and see these. They're truly like pros at the game. And this was before I got a lot better with Am
I gonna have to vamp in the show, or is it my connection? It might be my connection. No, it's not my connection. It might be TK's. Trying to verify. Let me check on. Let me see if I can message TK and see if he actually. Oh, it's not mine. Oh no, I'm the only one in the show now. Oh no. All right. Well, let me message TK and make sure he's good. You good, brother? All right. Well, there we go. I think why don't we do this then? While he's in a freeze, he had a very pertinent point. He had a really good point that he was trying to bring up. Why don't we go ahead and just throw some questions in the comments? Let's do an impromptu Q&A while we wait for TK to come back. Why don't we just do that? So luckily I am a bit of a host, as you might know, so I'll do my best to carry the show while TK is out. We're in an episode of TNG Timescape. I would click on your comments. That way I could show it on the bottom portion. But yeah, Wi-Fi 6 got him. That's awesome. Kemi Torres, modular phones. This was another thing that I saw during my walk down memory lane. We ended up talking about a lot of modularity back in like 2016, 2017, but unfortunately, it never really came to pass. We had phones like the LG G5. We had Project Aura was obviously supposed to be a thing, but it never really went anywhere. I don't really know why. I know that R&D is probably very expensive to be able to make modularity a consumer product, but with all of that in mind, I think we should see a little bit more of it on a small scale. The problem is smartphones have such a crazy turnaround time that if you buy into one product with a bunch of modules and then you have to move on to something else, you kind of lost all that money on all of those modules. So it's a very hard thing to make sustainable across the board. Even Moto was unable to keep up the Moto mods later on because they had to move on from that particular phone, that particular system, and go into new things. Fat Produce. What are your thoughts on current state of VR? Again, yet another thing. Michael and I, Michael's in the chat obviously, so I can talk about this lovely story. Michael and I were there. That MWC is still one of my favorite memories when we first experienced the HTC Vive. And our reaction, our collective reaction to the HTC Vive demo that they had was phenomenal. We were having so much fun with... Oh, okay. There's TK.
Dude, the whole power in the house went out.
Oh, for real? That's nuts.
Yeah, the whole thing.
I went ahead and did a impromptu little Q&A since I was alone in the show. Here's a question. I know that you had a point that you were trying to get to right before. I talked a little bit about modularity. Someone asked about modularity, and I was like, yeah, modularity is tough. Even Moto had to leave modularity because they had to move on from that particular set of phones.
Yeah.
So that was the
Z-Force line actually kind of moved on. So, that's right. I left this comment highlighted.
And then someone else asked about the state of VR, and I wanted to.
Cheers, man.
I brought it back to a story of Michael and I at MWC 20. I want to say it was 2015, where we were able to experience the HTC Vive for the first time, and our minds were so blown. Of course, Michael, being the Star Trek fan, would say it's like the holodeck.
It is absolutely.
But I remember, and I deserve credit for what I'm about to say, honestly. Like I wish I could like get something for what I'm about to say, but I said in that podcast, or it was the live stream, the Tech Lounge live stream, Valve is a company you believe in. They always deliver. If they're going to be with HTC and create the Vive, this is why we haven't seen Half-Life 3, because this is the way they want you to play it, is via VR. And what happened 4 years later? Half-Life Alyx came out on VR. I called it way back when. So I was right. I just want to put that out there. But our reaction together was just like, man, yeah, exactly. That experience that we had was this sort of collective thing. And what I love is that Michael and I basically took over that 25-minute portion of that lounge show, just talking about how awesome the experience was.
VR has gone. I mean, so the other thing that I feel like I didn't get a chance to play with Vive originally back when it was first launched. I played, or at least saw, the HTC Vive at the Android barbecue. So at the big Android barbecue that XDA and I think it's just a lot of the main manufacturers used to host in Texas. No longer a show anymore, but HTC brought out a whole truck. They had a whole truck that was parked next to the building. They had the actual setup done there. You get to play with it and experience it. And it is truly an immersive experience. But can you imagine though where we are now, that we're able to use the Quest, right? The Quest and the Quest 2 from Qualcomm, and just getting that type of mobile, untethered experience of VR in almost any location that you're in. So we've gone so much further, but Vive is still I feel like it's still the gold standard. If you want to really get the experience of where you want to see VR and how it is. Did you feel nauseous though at the end after you play with the VR? Some people do. I didn't feel it right away though.
The only time I ever did was with the Gear VR. And I wonder if it's because the fidelity of the phone in right in front of my face. By the way, the whole phone as VR thing, I'm glad that didn't really pan out, like Daydream and all of that, because for one very particular reason. the phone gets really hot. You don't want this part of your face to be the only part that's sweating. It's not.
That not only that, the phone being that close to your face, like
Yeah.
even if you have the lenses there, it's still very closed, like you said, enclosed, and then you get, well, the goggle face is not going to go away, but yeah, I know what you mean.
I will say though that VR right now, there are some great things. Like we just talked about Half-Life Alex. I personally
Mhm.
have not played it. I haven't played it. I'm a bit of a scaredy cat when it comes to stuff like that. And there have been some horror games on VR that just I could not handle it whatsoever. But there are very good examples of where VR is currently. I don't know where it's going to go, but there's some great examples of where it is right now. My favorite one being Star Wars Squadrons. Such a
Oh
great
yes,
game.
yes, yep. No,
Now the whole thing of like moving in 45-degree angles in the game world, like that's kind of a weird thing, and I'm not a biggest fan of that. But once you get into the cockpit and you're actually flying, I know Michael's a big fan of his aviator controls. But
Mhm.
like, yeah, those are even then, even with just a keyboard and mouse, it's amazing.
So here, Jo- Michael's in there. So I wanted to phone as VR to pan out just because it made it so much more sense. High res displays, powerful processing, makes all the sense in the world of to press into a personalized duty. A personalized duty as a VR headset, like kind of like
Specialized
more,
duty, yeah.
yeah,
The
specialized.
I agree, and I think now's the time to bring it back if it's going to come back. It's just back then. I remember I watched the old video of me doing a Daydream View with the Pixel, I think 2 or
Mhm.
Pixel XL. Yeah, that was not a good time. It was just
Well,
like
Pixels,
it was
it was
fine,
cardboard,
but I
right?
just remember taking off the thing and I was just like this whole area was just like red.
It was definitely so essentially the Daydream View, the control itself was really more of a higher quality version of cardboard. For all intents and purposes, you still had to insert your phone. I feel like that was an attempt that they let it go, and I felt like I thought Samsung was going to stick to it because the generational upgrades that we saw with the Gear VR up till the S10 was actually substantial. They were getting to the point where it became very close to what we saw with the Quest. But then I
Hmm.
realized what they did. Quest, I feel like, is a much better approach, mostly because it's dedicated hardware, right? You don't have to worry about, plugging in your phone,
Hmm.
charging, and you're using its own system. The sensors were very good, and you definitely saw the benefit of it. But it is a lost opportunity for smartphones to be, a little bit more. We have the horsepower, we have large batteries. You could definitely enjoy it and definitely see
But we're trying to
that would
make a
that would
TK's
be
VR live stream.
it. Can you imagine if we did a VR live stream? Everybody in their
Have
head.
any of you in the chat have ever watched VR gaming videos? I'm talking about like let's play videos and whatnot. They are hilarious because if they have a face cam, this is the truth of VR. VR makes you feel cooler than you actually are. If you're in that world and you're shooting things up like John Wick, you should see
Yeah.
yourself outside of that world while you're playing it. You look
So
like a dunce. Like
yeah,
you
no. So there's a few set of videos on Saber Beat or Beat Saber. Sorry, not Beat
Beat
Saber
Saber,
Beat.
yeah.
So you've seen a lot of these videos where they show you the main, where they play on a green screen, and yeah, you take the green screen away. It's a person standing in a room doing, and that's how I look like, just
You
like a
could be
big
killing
fool.
it. It's well, Beat Saber is a great example of like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
the DDR effect. You could be
yeah.
killing it in the game, but you just look so weird doing it. Like that's
I,
just
IRL not a good look, but in the game, totally doing it. And this is, I always see those, and like when I play it, I don't see it, but then when I sit back and I let my son play it, I'm like, oh great, that's how I look. it's one of those. It's one of those. But
Aditya, John Wick in VR. My friend, they already did it back in the day. IMAX used to have VR like playgrounds. So they would have this building that just has a bunch of little pods, and each
mhm.
one has a Vive or an Oculus in it. And it was like they would have IMAX viewing parties with VR, but they would also have gaming rooms. And one of the games was John Wick, and they give you this like light gun that's in the it's in the shape of an MPK, that kind of machine gun, and you would play as John Wick trying to defend himself on a rooftop. Like that was actually a thing. Yet another thing that I wouldn't remember had I not made that video years ago about
You
it.
go. Josh has been on a kick of going back and checking out a lot of his videos. And if you guys haven't seen, also just for reference, he also recorded another episode of Technically Together with Issa. So hopefully you guys will be able to catch that up very, very soon. I think it comes out this Sunday, right? Or
it's already out.
It's already out for this week.
It's already out, and I will say this. Shouts out to Issa. She got fiber at her house in the Philippines, and
I am so jealous right now.
That's amazing. So her upload time, like, she's already such a good workhorse. She does so well, like, with her productivity and her consistency. Now it's just going to be even better because she's not going to have internet as an excuse anymore. Because it was always a valid excuse. It was like, oh, the internet sucks in the Philippines, because it does. But she got fiber in the house, so kudos to her.
Kudos, definitely. I don't know what happened, like with the whole, like we were driving, everything was working perfectly great, and then the power literally, it just did like it like went out and came back in like a split second, but it was enough to disrupt the whole thing.
I don't think I've ever panicked on a show, but that was very close once you froze, and I realized you weren't coming back.
The reason why I was trying to bring it up with Issa's conversation is the last time this happened to me was when Issa was on the show.
Oh.
And she ended up being in the same. So I don't know what it is, but it happened again. So
if there's anybody aside from myself who could carry a show if they had to, it's Issa. Like, Issa is
absolutely.
She does such a good job as a host. That's why she gets hosting gigs in the Philippines. She's done hosting gigs for, I don't want to speak out of turn, but there are certain companies that have had her on stage to carry shows. So she does do that. She's a wonderful host.
Absolutely. And I will, now that we're kind of talking a little bit more, I'm going to reach out and see if we can make it happen to have Issa on the show one more time. I'd love to be able. It's been a while since I've had her on the show, but it's just like the coincidence of this happening. It hasn't happened on any others. Not to say the power company plans them like this. He's like, is Josh on today? Okay, schedule one right now. Please go ahead. Issa was here last time. We do it special for them. Give them the show. Let him get off. It'll be one of those things. But yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to chat a little bit more with Issa. I talked to her offline a few times. Everyone, on Instagram and so on. So great content creator. And actually, speaking of the iPhone exclusive app that everybody seems to love these days, I was actually in a room with her a couple of days ago that was very
Clubhouse,
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to throw the name there. Not that I'm trying to throw kind of naming there. Clubhouse is an interesting experience for me.
Isn't it so funny how everyone's so polarized about Clubhouse? And
it depends on where you are. Like, I think the type of what you're looking to get out of, maybe that's a better solution. Depends on what you're trying to get out of it. I've been on a few different rooms, and I've been also on some Arabic ones and as well as some English ones. So depending on the market, I'm starting to. I was actually in one that Super Saf was in there, and it was actually an entirely Arabic community. They had somebody translating for them, so it was a very, very, very interesting to be in a room where everybody was speaking so many different Arabic dialects, and I'm trying to figure out some of them what they're saying, because there's a big dialect difference in the Arab world. You think everybody speaks the same, but no. Like along the Mediterranean, all the Arab countries on the north part of Africa, each one of them has a very distinctive dialect. Nice. And I speak Arabic in Lebanese style, so it was nice. But yeah, Clubhouse is it's an interesting experiment. If you're into it, you're into it.
I haven't really. I don't dive into it unless there are rooms that I know people. In which I know people. That's really my way of doing it. But I know that some people like jump in, they're trying to learn stuff from different rooms that have topics that they might, and I want to do that for sure. But here's the thing, like with anything, if you come into a crowdsourced material expecting like all of the best advice in the world, or expecting everyone to have like the highest level of expertise, you kind of need to temper your expectations, honestly. Like, I like viewing Clubhouse as a Comic-Con panel. So like, the people that are on stage in Hall H, they get to talk and everybody is there, and then they take questions from the audience. Like, that's the kind of thing. But some of these people who are belly aching about how like, oh, Clubhouse is just a bunch of people who like to hear themselves talk. Yeah, that's what everything is. Like, that's what everything is. So maybe chill out a little bit and just enjoy yourself in Clubhouse. If there are some things that you are able to learn, cool. But yeah, just temper your expectations a little. Anthony Thomas sounds like Reddit. Exactly.
Well, and the fact of the matter is, I think if I'm not mistaken, very soon Twitter is going to have something very similar to it, right?
Yep.
So it's not necessarily that super. Sorry. Here's Anthony's comments. Like, exactly. Sounds like Reddit. Yeah. God help us if Reddit ever gets Clubhouse. Let's just say that, because if depending on your input there, but my Tunisian friend, so here Aditya was in there. Friends in Saudi Arabia, friends prefer talking to each other in English over Arabic. It depends on the market. Yeah, it depends on where you are. The language difference in Arab countries are very, very big.
Mhm.
But the one thing that I did appreciate when I jumped on it is I saw Issa's post on Twitter, come join us. And it typically is that I join in on rooms that I know, like I think El Jefe Reviews is always, I see him a lot of times. I see Viper and Viper's there like every time. And Viper's room, like Clubhouse groups or rooms are very, like they last for a long time, which is really cool because I've jumped in like in and out a few. And then, like I said, the one in the Arabic, that was a big thing. So it depends on what you're looking for, but like you said, you could listen to it, you could use it. I'm more so excited about how Twitter does it, because I feel like Twitter is where I have a lot more of my conversations. In Clubhouse, it's like starting over. If there's no better way to say it, you're starting over, and if they don't know you, you'll never get on stage, and you're listening for hours, which depends what you want to do. But
That's why, like I said yesterday. Oh, so for NIF, Clubhouse is basically a platform where you have moderators in a room that is created, and then there's like, if you're able to imagine in your brain, it's like a virtual stage and then a virtual audience. So you have people come in, and it's all done via voice. So you have your microphone, obviously, is like you have your microphone icon where you can turn on and off your mic. Clubhouse is still iOS exclusive, yes. So you're
Even
able
though
to
they're
come in
working
and
on it,
the moderator is able to bring people in from the audience to come on stage. And then it's, like I said, it's basically just like Comic-Con. It's just like a panel. It's a panel thing. So if you're in the audience, you can hit the icon to raise your hand, and then maybe they'll see it and they'll bring you on and all of that. So it's really like that. What I think people love about Clubhouse is the curation aspect, the moderation aspect. It's something that a lot of platforms don't get until later, and Clubhouse focused on it from the outset. So I think that they get a lot of credit for that. Problem is, obviously, you give everyone a certain platform, there's going to be a wide range of different types of things that you can enjoy or not enjoy on Clubhouse. There is no chat feature in Clubhouse. There's no text whatsoever. It's literally all voice. So yeah, that's the thing. So it's very interesting. I think that they get a lot of credit for how they approached it, even in the beginnings. But yeah. Yes, and Viper is a huge vanguard of Clubhouse. He's so into it.
I feel like the platform was made for him. If there is no better way to describe it, though, right? Like you feel
He's
like
a great moderator.
made. Yeah, he's made to moderate. That's like the whole. Like you listen to it and you just sit back and you enjoy it. And so yeah, short answer is if you're able to get into it and check it out, it's definitely interesting. I'm really more so looking to see how it does work on not Android, but necessarily, on Twitter's platform, which will bring it to both iOS and Android at the same time, because that's their biggest. I feel like the conversations that we have, most of them are all done on Twitter anyways. So it's a natural progression, but
I just hope that the same strong moderation tools are there.
I hope, yeah, that's what it.
God forbid, like Twitter just opens the floodgates and says everyone have voice, and it just turns into like it just turns into the toxicity you get in a Call of Duty type of thing,
Does anybody know if Floss is on? Because I haven't even seen him on, if he's on Clubhouse. Because I would imagine Floss would be also a very good moderator as well.
I have not noticed.
I'll have to.
I know Kogan recently signed up. I don't know if I haven't seen him in the room yet, but I know that he signed up for it. The Unlocker plays.
Yeah, David Kogan, of course. Speaking of iOS exclusively app, I'm deeply tired of that nonsense. Currently testing a paid true wireless earbuds, a pair. Well, only work iOS, but app, no Android app. We need that trend to be.
That's weird. Only an iOS app for your wireless earbuds. That's weird.
Of course, and Floss, of course, on the show would definitely be.
But just a room. Just put Floss and Viper in a room.
Yeah, I think he meant pair.
Yeah, he meant pair.
Yeah.
He's on mobile, so what is it? Autocorrect is messing.
No, I know. I was about to say it's like paid sponsor. Totally fine. No, it's good.
I'm getting paid. I mean,
I'm sorry. It's a pair. It's a pair. Not paid. Not paid. Now, speaking of which, though, if there's one thing I do always appreciate is the disclaimers that Michael does in his videos. Those
Absolutely.
those are like the gold standard of the way he puts them in there, and it is always. I wish I had enough leverage to if I am working on a sponsored video to be able to basically share the video directly to the public without having any input. But it's one of those things that I always appreciate about the way he does his videos, and it's nice, that nice fresh approach. And we'll have to see. We'll have to see how he missed.
But yeah, I agree. Like he's Michael's been one of the greatest examples of full disclosure and disclaimers for sure. And we all can learn a thing or two from that. Yeah, I do my best to at least add those disclaimers. I mean, what I should say is I always do. It's just it's not quite as robust as a full disclosure as Michael's, but it's very to the point. Is yeah, they paid me for this video, but they did not pay for my opinion.
No. It's a very big thing. I wasn't trying to make it sound like it's the other way around, but
sure.
we all do it, and it's more of the style. Like everybody has their own style of when they're doing their disclosures and so on. And his by far, I feel like it doesn't even sound like a disclosure. That's the weird part about it.
Yeah.
Like when you're listening to it, you feel like it's part of the review, but the way it's presented, it's just so. It's the editing on it, or even just his presentation of it, is done very nice. So that's why I was commenting on it. The first thing that stands in my mind.
Not to turn this into the comment bashing show, and we're not. I'm just saying, like, there are those people who just literally see the word pay or forms of that word or sponsor or anything like that, and they immediately just assume things. I'm so sick of people assuming things. That's really what it is. So that's why I tweeted this morning. One of my first tweets was not, and I did the clap emoji, not every video is a review. Like, just if we could just get that through most of your heads at this point, God, life would be so much easier, because like the entitlement of the viewer rears its ugly head once in a while. And I'm not talking about you in the comments right now. You've all been really great, but obviously we all know that those things exist. So that's all I'm saying.
There's always going to.
And anybody who gets mad about this whole, like, sponsorships and stuff like that, you need to be honest with yourself that if you got the opportunity to get paid for talking about a thing you like, you would absolutely take it. Stop being a hypocrite. Be better.
Absolutely.
I'm chilling. I'm out of tea, so.
Quickly, guys, we need tea delivery. Michael's back with the 100% of the distinction between review and other types of content that was lost for years ago. Unfortunately, a lot of people, it's a blurred line. They assume everything is a review, but
yeah.
It is the end of the conversation when it comes down to disclosures and what we do. It's on a.
It happened. It had to happen eventually.
He ran out of tea, and we don't have any scotch on the side. That's exactly what it was. The timing. I'm sorry. Next time, I'll make sure there's a delivery right as he's finishing the last sip, because you ran out of tea and I'm out of coffee. So
yeah.
I put a straw just to make me drink it slower, but it doesn't help. I keep going through with it, but. So here, Josh, you're getting some hashtag. Sweary Josh is coming.
That was last night. That was last night on Technically Together. And to full disclosure, I was actually drinking on that show. I actually have a can here. But yeah, I was drinking on that show.
So being that Maryland makes sense. Obviously, if you think about it, also depending where you are, the production style, everything that you see on the show, has to have support for it. And AdSense, as much as people think it makes a lot of us are living really really nicely off of that. It doesn't really pay as much as people think it does, and it depends on the market where your videos are. Like on my Arabic channel, I don't even I do Arabic videos for fun. I don't do it for AdSense because there is no AdSense in Middle East, just really bad, really from the sense of what it offers. But
they also there's also this whole layer of people need to give us the benefit of the doubt. Do you have any idea how hard we fight with these sponsors to make sure that we can still provide our perspectives unencumbered and without approval processes and without them? Like, the moment any sponsor or company comes back to us and says, we don't like that you said this, we respond with tough.
Yeah.
Like, that's
No,
the
no.
truth.
It has to be an unbiased approach, because once you start giving into the other part of it, it starts showing in the content. And it is a relationship. You have a relationship with your audience, and you want to be able to deliver on that relationship. It's almost like a promise you make when you first meet somebody. I'm going to be honest with you, regardless if it's good or bad. This is how it's going to be. And that's the thing that I always appreciate about, watching at least any type of content, and that it is disclosed. As long as it's disclosed, you understand the point of view that this is still your experience of using it. It has, it's not just because it's a sponsored review or sponsored content, not review. Take that back. The content is sponsored. The video opinions are yours.
Yes.
Oh man, everybody's in there jumping into it. Again, fragrance companies are literally destroy careers of channel. Yeah, no, that's. I'm just happy I'm not in the fragrance department. Can you imagine the T? No, let's not say that. Don't. That was a bad. That was a bad title. But yeah, no.
Well, Gabietta makes a good point as well. There's a distinct between a review and a sponsored piece. I don't mind either, as long as they are disclaimed as such, and that is exactly what we do.
Yeah.
So that is it. Like, throughout our careers, we might have seen other people not be. Oh, obligatory shout out to MKBHD's latest podcast and Tom Scott's latest video. They dive into the discussion of sponsorships. Yes. So yes, like you. In a lot of ways, the viewer doesn't know what we go through to make those things happen. And I understand that, and that's fine. I can empathize with that. But you also need to give us the benefit of the doubt that on number one, we will disclaim, we will make it very distinct that this is a sponsored video, but we'll also tell you that even when we take sponsorships, we make it clear to, at least we do. I know that maybe some creators may not be quite as strong-handed with this kind of stuff. But we make it very clear. I know that I do. I know Michael doesn't know you do, TK. We make it very clear to these sponsors, you can't pay for what I say.
Exactly. And that's the thing that you want to make sure that people understand it. That's the relationship that happens in the background. You don't get to see that. But definitely, as long as you know that it's there, you understand and at least appreciate where things are going from there.
Give me guidelines. Give me the things you want me to make sure I highlight, but I get to say what I think about it. And you know what that is called when there's no sponsorships? That's called a spec sheet. So so it's the same thing. So yeah, you want me to talk about a certain feature of a phone, then fine. But if you don't like what I say about it, that's not my problem.
Exactly. And I think it's more no, exactly right there. Josh took the words straight out of my mouth. Exactly. Oh my God.
Oh,
dude, who is this?
You have a hell of a show today, my friend.
It's a magical day. I get power outages. I get Josh. I get Michael, and we have David and Mel in the chat. Good morning. Good day, David. Obviously East Coast time, so it's good afternoon.
You know what happened? Michael invoked the name of Marquez Brownlee, and David appeared.
But that's true, because that's right. If I'm not mistaken, I think congratulations, David. I know we saw the news. Congrats on the new working with the MKBHD with Marquez.
Super proud of you, brother.
It's super proud, and what an amazing opportunity for you to be able to just to get to be part of that and to bring your experience, and then of course working with them. So very big, very look at that. Okay, so only thing I'm probably saying, are they sitting in the same room? Maybe that's the better.
They are. Yeah. I was going to say. Sure they are.
I'm sitting. I'm sure Michael's on one side of the room and David is on the other side. Hey, Michael, what are you doing? I'm on the show with TK and Josh. What are you doing?
Yep. There we go. Shouts out to the roommates over there. But yeah,
a lot of people don't know.
Welcome to the show. I woke up early enough to be here, and now look at what happened.
Next time, dude, we gotta make it into a habit. Now we just need to make sure to get you up earlier, and Indeed. Get the tea in. Yeah, get it.
Well, what? Okay, why don't we talk about this then? Do you use any tech to fix your sleep schedule or anything like that? Because I know that I'm a sleep tracker fan, but it doesn't mean it helps me.
I do track my sleep. I use so I did a review a few years back about a smart mattress. It wasn't really the mattress itself, but it's the cover has a tracking mechanism. It's called the 8 sleep mattress. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They have a way of tracking basically your sleep methods, if you're sleeping into deep sleep, the movements, and so on. So I use the 8 app that's supported by the mattress itself, not necessarily just the one that we get with the smartwatch, because they do have those in there.
Absolutely.
But this one actually even. Not the kind of cool fancy anything, but if you ever want your bed to be warm before you get into it, it has a built-in warmer.
Wow. So
Yeah,
it's like when someone gets in their car and they turn on the heater before they come in.
yeah, totally. Like, and it actually has an integration with the Amazon Assistant that you can ask it to warm up your bed before you get in. You
I
you ask it,
realize
say, "Get my bed ready."
I realize my question sounds super simple and mundane, as Gregory says, alarm clock.
Alarm.
But I agree with you, but it's still like it's not easy. And as Michael is saying right now, like we are surrendering to messed up sleep schedules. Like that whole thing I said earlier about me going down memory lane, watching all of these old podcasts and videos. And by the way, of course, David is a part of a lot of those.
Oh,
Our classic
absolutely.
podcasts for Android Authority they're
Exactly.
legendary. We had such a great time. But for example, that particular night, I was up until 3 a.m. just watching old videos and like just enjoying old podcasts. So
And you were up at 10:30 the next day, hanging out with me.
mhm. And you know what? Like, I will go ahead and say this for the benefit of some of the people who are in the chat now. I told you this TK on Pocket Now yesterday.
Yeah.
I realize now, or maybe I told you this off camera, but I realized that one of the reasons why I've been in such a weird funk the last number of weeks is
Yeah.
because for the last year we have been stuck doing these kinds of things, stuck at home, stuck in our offices, whatever the case may be. I realized something, and this is kind of a profound thing that I haven't realized until very, very recently. Yes, we have this work, we do it every day, some more consistent than others. I know that I'm still working on my consistency, but it was the trips, it was the work, it was it was the trips, it was the trade shows, it was the podcasting with friends, it was the going other places. That was my reward for the work I do every day. And for
Yeah.
the last year plus, I've had nothing but the work. So Aditya was saying, hopefully you're okay, Josh, all of that stuff. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I go more in depth into this mindset that I have been struggling with recently on Technically Together. But the bottom line is it's finally affecting me to the point where I'm actually procrastinating on work these days because I know that once I'm done with that work, there's only more of it on the other side. And
Yeah.
that really bums me out. And I've been struggling with that recently. So,
Mental health is a big thing. We always have to be aware and be mindful of where we are mentally and how we are. Sleep is a big part of it, believe it or not. I mean, if we don't get enough sleep, it translates into your daily activity because your body needs to be able to rest. Michael's commenting again on it, saying, he hasn't mastered any of the sleep schedule, which is a big regret of his life. I'm just lucky that I managed to be able to develop a career that, basically saves me from my 9 to 5 because of I legitimately cannot do it.
mhm.
It's hard. It's hard. It's very hard to just be able to think of it in that sense. How do we manage all of these things? And I go through it every once in a while, and I try to figure out ways to get out of it. It is a weird funk to get into, where you hit a low, like a feeling of you just don't want to do the things that you are excited about, the things that that are fun things to check out, new tech, new things coming up.
Yeah.
Um,
Not to
and it
mention the fact that those things that we could look forward to also involved me seeing my freaking girlfriend.
which honestly, I cannot wait for the day to be able to, when you guys are able to hang out again, because that is very hard. To do long distance is one thing. To do long distance and not being able to go meet up,
Hmm.
like even on a regular basis, is a very, very hard. And
But hey, we have a podcast now.
not only do you have a podcast, but we also have the
Oh
third
my
roommate in
god,
the room now.
what a morning, or rather day, because it's already past 12.
It is. We crossed noon, but we invoked David's name earlier in the show, and then apparently that meant David shall show up later in the show. The Unlocker, Mr. Kogan himself, David Amell, and of course Mr. Fisher, Michael Fisher, are all hanging out with us on a on what is to be an amazing. What I meant to say is the vicinity roommate. I realized that you guys. I think he's in the boroughs, right? If I'm not
He's in
mistaken.
the same borough. Yeah, he is.
Yeah. He's not
But
a
you know
roommate.
what? Right there, that thing that the thing Michael just said. Facts. Y'all talking smack? No, not talking smack at all. And we're basically here. It's a love fest. We have all of our friends in the chat now. We're just saying how much we miss each other. And Michael was sort of corroborating what I was saying a second ago, which is, like we've all been
They're
operating. Yeah, they're all 10 minutes away from each other.
10 minutes away.
But yeah, like Michael was just supporting what I was saying. It's just we've all been operating under a lot of like crazy stress, and there's a weird thing that happens with creators like us when we get into these ruts is we start to play like guilt Olympics, because what we do is we feel guilty, but then we have to remember that other people have it worse than us, and then that makes us
Yeah.
even feel more guilty. And then, but no, everyone's going through their own things in their own ways. So we're all trying. We're all trying. That's really what I'm saying, is we're all trying.
It is, and you have to kind of keep in mind the presence of where you are, and try to figure out and have different ways to, if nothing else, just figure out ways of getting you to help you move forward and find that center and be able to kind of come back. And if it takes taking a week off, take a break, step back, do something else. And I also find exercise helps a lot. And I know so what. I didn't mean to throw that in there for you, but I'm saying, like, if you feel like it, if you're
is that
feeling
a bus?
little,
I was thrown under it.
I didn't mean to go that far. No, what I was trying to say is, for me, running is a very big part of just centering, being in your own zone, being by yourself, focusing on yourself for, the 30, 45 minute, whatever, however long I'm able to go. And I always found that helps a lot. So whatever you're able to do, that's as long as you have a mechanism and the support. And I'm sure technically together is not helping a lot, but it definitely helps to have
helps
a
a little.
conversation.
Like we have a very specific amount of time every week that we spend together, because we get mixed up with our own work as well. But yeah, it's been very nice for us to be able to connect for at least an hour or two every week. It's a built-in weekly date, is what we call it. You have a super chat. I want to make sure you hit it
Dude,
before it goes away.
no, definitely. Davin Davis jumping in there, wondering if you you and Juan may want to tackle a bit of the managing content creators burnout on a Thursday show. Would be really, really nice. Hashtag, content creating, the content creator gang. That is actually a big conversation. A lot of people, like, it was weird. My wife, I told her a couple of days ago that I was feeling a little bit stressed. Her first response to me was like, "I'm seeing a lot of YouTubers stressed out all the time. Maybe you should take a break." I'm like, wow, how did you? She knew of the concern, and she's recognized it from just seeing other creators being open about it. Mm-hmm. So being open about it also is a big factor. You need to be comfortable and let people know of who you are and where things are.
The exercise thing, I told you, like,
I like running. It's just the thing.
Mr. Mobvoy treadmill over here. Like,
hey, dude. Josh got one. Not Josh. Sorry, Juan got one as well too. He's working on his thing. So, if you're, it's a nice little piece of tech that can hide very easily, but it is so nice to have, especially where we are in LA and stuff like that. If we can't go out too often, but if you want to get a walk, a run, whatever, it's there. It's beautiful. It's not paid. It's just
we know a lot of people who are getting Pelotons and all of that.
Oh, dude, Jaime with his Peloton routine, dude. Every time I see
morning.
Every other, like, on his stories on Instagram, that's all I see. But it's a motivation kick, right? It's right there. It kicks you in the butt, and just like, go out there and do your own version of that. But he's moving up there. I like that. Thank you, Davin. Always appreciate it, man. And of course, Michael, as you know, no personal attack at all. And mental health it's a chore. It is.
David
it is.
And I talk about this stuff all the time. Like that's like a quarter of our chat on Telegram is us just talking about what we're going through at the time. And I know David made a joke earlier about how he's going to start up a 9 to 5 once again, in a way, like in some fashion, yes. But still, like, I'm sure that in its own way, he's going to have to manage certain things like that as well. And he and I talk about that too. So, yeah.
And he's staying up with Che and keeping him running there with competing.
They have Apple Health, Apple Fitness is what they use to. Yeah,
I got to get into the. I'm not a big. I don't use the Apple Watch, so that's why for me it's Team Mobvoy. When you plugged in the treadmill, it's Mobvoy all the way.
But yeah, say, while we have all of these people in the chat, allow me to, since I'm here, so you don't have to self-aggrandize or self-promote. Everybody, make sure you follow TK when he appears on the Team Alpha stream. Like, I want to make sure that we make it clear to all of the people who are in the chat. We have a lot of people. Like, TK is working with Sony, and he's got this Alpha thing going on next week. Like, shouts out to TK.
Hashtag some Xperia Pro. Always the love for the Pro. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And very, very blessed and very lucky to be considered for the opportunity. And I'm anxious, looking forward to it. Yes, on the 28th, I think somebody was asking about it. It is literally about a week from now. On the B Alpha show, as well as they're actually giving out a nice camera. So if you're looking for it, you want to be part of the show. If you have some questions, hopefully I'll be able to answer some of yours. That'll be great. I appreciate it. Thank you. Always happy. And today's show could not have turned. Thank you, David. Always appreciate it. It could not have turned any better. I mean, this is seriously like alignments of stars and planets in type of a conversation, and it is very, very blessed. I want to say, oh man,
100%. I'm trying to follow. I'm trying to follow where it all kind of happened. I want to say a little bit of credit. I don't know if Michael, you came into the chat because of Kemi's tweet, but I did see that. So Kemi did tweet out. I know you might be very busy, but if you could just come in and say hi, many people will be very happy. And he tagged the Unlocker and Mr. Mobile. So there you go. So Kemi, shouts out to Kemi. I don't know if it was all you, but you helped. I feel like so.
I want to say thank you to everybody. Like I said, alignments of stars could not have happened in any better way than today, because you started the whole thing, right? This whole thing kind of was just you jumping on, kind of coincidentally, and it kind of just rolled off from there. And yeah. We're actually almost at roughly around the time where the show kind of gets into that nice. That's why you're seeing a lot of the TKR Bay hashtag TKception coming up as well. TK is a goat. TK is a goat now. The
Sony
TK
goat.
is a Sony goat.
Sony goat.
Goat all the way. And it is actually. Michael did see it from there.
There we go.
Yeah.
So shouts out to Kemi, man. And then of course Michael tweeted it out as well and said, "Hey, let's all hang out for a little bit." So yeah, there you go. Like this is the cascading effect of the creator community that we have, which is always something that humbles us whenever it appears. So it's great.
It is.
I don't know how, TK, you could possibly end the show when we have this type of group.
I don't know. That's the thing. I didn't even touch it. We already crossed the normal 2-hour show, kind of like timeline that we're gone. Oh, I like this. Okay, gotta put that one up.
Of course.
I got bombarded in a group chat by Fisher and ML, honestly.
That always happens.
Whatever way that it ended up happening, like I said, always appreciate it. And not that you mentioned it, actually, I didn't check my my notification on Twitter. That's why I didn't even notice it. But you're right. Yeah, no, I saw it right there. Thank you very much. And of course, really big thank you to Joe, big supporter. Of course, shout out to all the fantastic creators in here. We appreciate you all. Also, all the cool guys in the chat every week. Finally, hashtag TKRB. You're the man. Hashtag TKception. And let's keep the wave going. So if you guys are not familiar with it, I think maybe Josh may be familiar with it. There is a thing that we do on the show. Not to say that it ends the show, but it is part of the show that we do at least once a week. And it's called a TKception. It's in the Inception type of a view that we're able to do within StreamYard. And believe it or not, just for reference, we're running this entire show on a Galaxy S21 Ultra. Not a plug. My Wi-Fi didn't come back. So we're all mobile on this entire thing.
Oh, no way.
I was able to get the computers come back on, but for some reason the router is not running right. So I ended up running the whole show, and I'm still running the whole show on my S21 Ultra.
I would not have noticed.
It's working. But yeah, so that hotspot, bro, always got to keep it going. So let's do real quick a TKception. We'll get that kind of going so we can get everybody in there. So for everybody's in the comment, if you don't mind, if we can just hashtag it TKception real quick, and I will start going with that as always. As we're getting ready there, actually we'll kick it off right there. Gary the Fireman got us going right away, and we're gonna start the video share. Okay, so we're ready. 1, 2, 3, and go. What? Timing? Yes, now. It doesn't do it right.
I'm in it too. Sweet.
All right, we're all in it. TKception. Everybody's in the chat as well. I want to say again, thank you very much to Chemi, Joey as well. Everybody. Oh man, it's jumping pretty quick here. Matt Tyler as usual. ER1980. Josh Quinones, big fan, big fan. TKception as well from Greg, Donald Demure, NIF 2005, and of course the man, the legend, Mr. Mobile, gracing us with the TKception on us on the Saturday morning with tech. Aditya, as always, thank you very much. Always love the show. Always big supporter. Mr. Benedict Cumberbatch, of course. And um, I wow. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You deserve the love, my friend. Obviously.
Yeah, but it like when it's really like a wave, and it's building. You know what I mean? It's yeah. Thank you very much, David, and of course to everybody in the chat. Always appreciated. Wow, I am. I'm not like it doesn't. I don't get like man. Okay. Yeah, it's a big part of what I do, and I appreciate everybody hanging out with us. And the conversation doesn't have to end. I wanted to make sure and to bring it up, and thank you, Michael. Always, oh man.
Couldn't have had a more heartwarming start to the day.
I could not have been any better. The only thing would have made it better, perfect, if this was my birthday and it would have been like that was like the thing. But no, dude, I was man. Thank you to everybody, and thank you to David. Without you guys, without having you guys in the community and in my life, honestly, where I am today would not even been possible. That's truly a big fact of where I am. We hang out, we talk, and that's a big thing that I really miss about all the events, and being able to, like you were saying, Josh, it's just to be able to hang out with you guys, just to see you. You know, you and I live close, and we used to hang out a lot, and you know, I hope that comes back at some point. But even just seeing, you know, Michael, seeing David, seeing David, David Amel, and obviously the Unlocker as well. That was a big part of what I looked forward to going to events. And more so, not that I'm trying to say that it wasn't exciting to go, but it's the big part that we get a chance to hang out. So I hope that part of our lives comes back very quickly, and we get a chance to hang out, and we get a chance to be truly, you know, go back to just being the buds that we were always there. And yeah, very big. Like a wave, like I cannot explain. It was just a wave of emotions just going through my mind. Like,
yeah,
wow.
Well, like everyone has been saying, it's very well deserved. And I would say you and I have, like, you have been there throughout a lot of the moves that I have made, and you've been like, we've been sounding boards for each other's moves as well. We've been able to talk through a lot of our career paths and whatnot, and you've been very much an inspiration. So like when I heard that you're doing like work with them, it was like, it's so awesome, you know, and you deserve to be with them for sure. You deserve to be working on Team Alpha for sure. Team TK Alpha, TK Team Alpha.
we'll have to figure the TK Alpha Bay is what I've been what I think keeps like sticking to my head. But yeah, TK or Team Alpha TK or we're gonna have to we have to work that end there. I do want to say thank you very much to El Joseph, of course, for the super chat as well. Thank you very, very much, Rolando, everybody in the chat. So maybe let's just look at some of the things that we've been going on this week, and as far as things are going on. I know I asked Juan all the time, what's the best of his week? Realizing that there's some things going on in your life right now, is there a silver lining? Is there something that maybe that could have been possibly best of your week, or something that you did this week that you felt excited about that maybe helped you come back on the road to where you want to be?
In a way, yes. Okay, so one of the only things I can do to make work easier or better or more fun, unfortunately, as many of the other creators in the chat will probably attest to, it's what we call GAS, which is gear acquisition syndrome. So most of the time, whenever we feel like we're in a rut, it turns into retail therapy. So I will say that one of my favorite things from this past week has been this here lens. I got a new lens for my camera, And
Yep.
it's not only the focal length I like the most, which is 35 millimeters, but it's also a very low aperture at f2, so that's why the background is nice and creamy like this. So yeah, that would honestly be my favorite thing. I'm looking forward to using this as my full-on A-roll camera. But once I put A-roll lens, but on this camera, once I throw APS-C mode on, it becomes a 50 millimeter lens. So I technically have
Equivalent to the video.
two great lenses in one, and this might be my one and done lens. It's what I use for everything. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'm loving that the autofocusing is sticking really good, and it's doing the job that
I have it. Exactly. This is a Panasonic camera, so yes. But I will say I have it set up so that it's locked on. So when I start recording, I focus it on me, and it, for the very most part, will just stay where it was originally locked.
Perfect.
It's still autofocus, so if I move forward, it will change. But yeah, for the most part, it's just locked in.
It's working buttery smooth there. And Michael's there saying, you know, once foldable season picks back up again, let's do a little shared cast to talk about our new foldable future together. Absolutely. Foldable, rollable, anything that ends with a bull. Kind of, we'll have to see how things kind of go. But if there's anything else to see, thank you again for the super chat as always. For everybody, having both Davids in the comment is driving me crazy at this point, as well as having, you know, Josh and Michael, everybody in there.
Well, we also got two Joshes, JV and JQ, right now.
Exactly.
I don't know if anybody calls Josh Q known as JQ. Who knows? But we could start that.
We could always try. Yeah, we could always start JQs in there, and then of course we have another super chat right there. And always heartwarming to see all the levels supported tech community across amazing creators. Congratulations TK for as many. And many blessings to you as well. Hashtag TKRBay, Gabriella. Always appreciated.
Oh, people do call him JQ. There we go.
JQ. Yeah. So we got JQ in the comment, and I actually met Josh on the launch event of the Galaxy S20 series. Both he and I were part of. We won an invitation to be part of the members program, and actually that's how I got the S10, the S10 Plus. So that's how long we've known each other. Very, very big. Michael's with the two Davids. Welcome to Everyday Real World Test Road Trip Review that we all get together. Can you being in the same conversation?
Boy. This is going to turn into a 3-hour show. Look what just happened.
Oh, okay. Nothing against Jaime himself, but what did I break?
What's up, brother?
What's up, man? How are you guys? Okay. I hope you guys are doing great. Jaime, of course, gracing us with this present as well. Jaime Rivera. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think Jaime and Michael and David are in the same location still, right? Or is that not happening anymore?
Not in the same room, but like
I meant like
we have the New York crew.
The New York. What I meant to say is, yeah, like this is literally, if you had to kind of focus area, is like you just got New York tech group entirely all in one room.
While TK Juan and I are holding down LA as much as we can.
Pretty always there. Oh my God, Jaime's in here as well. Yeah, we share. That's right. This filming studio.
Because
you see each other. You see some of the other creators, like, you know, in Michael Fisher's in videos. I don't know why I keep calling him Michael Fisher. In Michael's videos, you always see David in the background, ML, or even. Okay, you either see ML or the unlocker in the background. always, and of course, I think a lot of people do refer to him as Kogan. I think that's generally what I've heard people refer. So it's Kogan and David ML. Oh man, Jaime's in the chat. That is just, it's crazy. It's crazy. Now all I need is just Juan Carlos to jump on. We got it done.
Cards on the table. Jaime and I have a lot of catching up to do. As I was saying earlier, I was kind of going through some stuff, and Jaime and I, obviously we work together at Pocket now, so he and I have a lot of catching up to do. These are the Echo frames, so I am using the Echo frames right now. Not only am I using the Echo frames right now, I went ahead and put in the money to get prescription lenses in them, so these are literally my glasses now. Here's the thing, Amazon, kudos to you for making a pair of smart glasses that are actually pretty useful, but in order for me to get prescription lenses in them, I had to, like, they sent me the glasses, and then when I went to get the prescription lenses in, they're the same price as the actual glasses themselves. So,
oh man, yeah,
that sucks.
But yeah, Jaime just got his as well. It sounds like he's getting on the same board. Yeah, no.
So he and I are going to be catching up. I had the idea of actually chiming in. I don't know if Jaime's doing the review on him or not, but if he is, I can chime in, and if I am, he can chime in. Whatever that case may be. But yeah, I'm actually enjoying them. I really am. Like, I am the kind of person who likes to have things playing in the background pretty much all the time. So having these like frames playing stuff, the battery life is not amazing. Let me say that, but having things playing is pretty nice. So Jaime is doing the review, but I'll chime in that review. I'd be happy to.
He got so Michael also seems like I think he's working on his own, so he does frames too as well. There's a lot of smart glasses I think going on, but I think the like from a truly approach, I think the Echo frames are going to be one of the ones that a lot of people will keep an eye on.
Well, this is the other problem though, and like to Michael's point, is that so many of these smart glasses are sunglasses.
Yeah.
And we don't all wear our sunglasses at night.
So I wear transition. I wear the transition, not the transition. Well, actually, they are called transition, right? The one that convert into sunglasses outdoors and then they go back to regular indoors. But that was the biggest thing that I've always, like, whenever I do get like smart glasses or anything like that, those are the ones I always want to get the lenses for, because otherwise I can't use them all the time. I have to keep swapping, and I'm not about to be rocking 2 pairs of glasses. That is no. Yeah.
Jaime is saying, tell me more about how you got the prescription lenses. LensCrafters. Like, I have a little card with my prescription on it that I can bring anywhere. So I just went to LensCrafters, asked them how much it would be. This is the reason why I was so upset about how much they cost. These are already $179, I think they are, at least around 200. But these lenses cost $172, and I don't even have anti-glare, as you can see, and I don't have blue light blocking filtering in them. So these are just basic lenses for $170. Like, you got to be kidding me, man. So it's a little bit disappointing in that regard. But a couple of other details I can provide. The sound is not amazing. They're not meant to be, because they're not in your ear or anything like that. Yes, they are Amazon frames, but if you were to hold on the side here, let me do it real quick. Turn off home desk light. You can use, never mind, I didn't get it. But
we can hear it, by the way.
Yeah, if you hold the side, you can use Google Assistant. So it doesn't just have to be Alexa.
I love that. Okay, yeah. Okay. So now we're gonna have to get it in there.
Why didn't you get what I was trying to say?
It happens every once in a while. And I do want to mention here that apparently okay, so David doesn't like to be called, doesn't prefer Cokester, but Michael Fisher definitely prefers Mike. they're started. Okay, we're starting some interesting conversations between.
Don't do it. Coming from
I keep calling him Michael Fisher. I keep referring to him by his first and last name. That is, to start with,
keep it at Fisher. Say Fisher. Don't say Mike. This is coming from personal experience. Don't call him Mike. Kogan is literally trolling right now.
Exactly. Right there. Yeah, you take that down.
Oh my God. Exactly.
Yeah, they're just messing. His name is Fisher. His name is Fisher, man. Oh no, I know. It is. I think it's very interesting to see some glasses, because I think if we notice some of the other technologies on the market, as far as smart glasses, we were noticing a smaller amount of devices. Like, I forgot the glasses that just got bought out by I forgot the Nord by Focals, right? The Focals, which was a big success, the first release that they put out. The second one, unfortunately, won't happen. Google purchased the company, so we'll have to see what comes out in the future. But it's very nice, and they look good.
I want to see smart glasses be more of a thing, because it's nice to have personalized, localized audio. Because let's put it this way: I live in a house with my parents, and my dad now is one of those people that is all about speakerphone. And so it's just those moments. So even if I were to open up like a YouTube video, at least I don't have to really like blast my audio from the phone where everyone else can hear it. At least it's pretty much localized to just me. So that's really nice. Call quality on these is actually really good too. I did a full video call with Isa the other day, and she said, "You sound really good, actually." And she didn't realize it was coming from the glasses. On the topic of that, though, as Michael said earlier, it's just that if you don't already need to wear glasses, it's not really something you'll use all the time. It's not like a watch that you could actually have on you all the time. If for glasses, it's if let's say if I ever get LASIK, this becomes semi-useless now.
Oh,
So that
that's right, because of the lenses that you've converted the lenses, and you'd have to buy another regular glasses, or basically change the lenses back to being just reflectors, or like sunglasses.
yeah. To that end, though, the other pair that I have, I'm going to review these first, but the other pair that I did recently get were the Huawei Gentle Monster glasses,
I was
the
about to
big
throw
ones.
those.
I
Yep.
kind of, where did I put it? I kind of want to get them because they are literally, I'll tell you what, let me turn off the cam and I'll go get them real quick.
Cheers, cheers. No, no, definitely. Um, Michael is definitely Mr. Fisher there. Speakerphone. So if everybody does, I think we were talking about the speakerphone that just using our smartphones. But speaking of smartphones, though, again, still running the whole show on my S21 Ultra, and battery is holding up like a boss. Like seriously. We lost power in the show earlier when Josh and I were originally talking a little bit, and Michael was in the middle. Um, Michael's back. Yeah, if you have solid vision, then you're going to be plastic frames on your face, and then it's a pain to get them cleaned. No, it's exactly what it is. Smartwatches are more functional because they fit. There's something that you keep with you all the time, and now you have a gentle monster coming up on the show. Dude, you're giving me a little bit of sci vibes right now.
Oppa Gangnam
Style. No, no, a little bit of sci-fi.
Are there any K-drama fans in the chat? Because these are iconic glasses from like very popular shows of 2020. But yes, this is what they look like. I have not used these yet. I know that they are best on a Huawei phone, and I don't really have any, not recent ones at least. But yeah, I love the look of these. But fun fact: Gentle Monster is a sunglass brand or glasses brand. They have more than just sunglasses. They are a fashion brand in Korea. Lovely looking glasses, as you can see here. This, without the smarts from Huawei, is already $350. Like,
oh wow,
it's a boutique brand.
It's
so
a
that's why these were significant for Huawei.
And this is the second generation, right? I think they had other glasses before. No,
pretty sure that this is I think they did it at one point. This is an updated version. Yeah, for sure. I can't say anything about these. I haven't used them at all. I'm trying to get through the Echo frames first.
Oh, definitely. Michael, just real quick, the case on the S21 Ultra is the UAG case. So I got a case, nice coverage. See, look at that, clean, straight cut right there, back into the Amazon. So he can't hear us right now, but that's fun. So now we can say all the fun things about Josh. And now he's back.
There you go. I'm back.
Just kidding.
I can't see. Those are not prescription. I can't see in these. So that's the other reason why these are hard for me to review, is because I got to put contacts in, and the last thing I want to do in COVID times is touch my face. So
last thing we want to do, but they definitely have a very interesting look, and very like they strike you right away when you see them on somebody's face. You're going to notice them. The Gentle Monster. I was going to say it's only going to focus.
That's not going to do anything. Yeah.
You would have to block the whole. Oh man, Morpheus, exactly. So that's what I was going to say. The other thing I was going to say, that Morpheus look from oh man, Matrix look. You look nothing but gentleman.
Yeah, okay. Exactly.
Oh man,
take away monster. It's just gentle Josh.
Just gentle Josh. That's hashtag from gentle. Loving the boss look, man. It definitely, there's no question. It definitely looks really, really appealing on in there. And
they're huge. I'm glad that okay, watch Issa's video on it. And okay, so Gentle Monster, one of the points of these glasses is that they're supposed to be super huge. That's the whole point of the style. And then when you watch Issa's video,
oh man, yes, no. Oh man.
It's simultaneously the coolest and cutest thing. And I don't just say that because I'm her boyfriend. It is literally like the cutest thing to see that these glasses dwarf her face like crazy.
It like I said, they're definitely, you gravitate to the look. The look is definitely very nice. So final question here before they need to jet out, gents. Anyone looking forward to those new 4100 powered smartphone coming later in the year? So let me I'll get you going on that one real quick, and then we can transition over and start kind of wrapping things and how we are. What are your thoughts?
I'm looking forward to it, but I know that in the case of the TicWatch Pro 3, the reason why it's able to be a good smartwatch that you can rely on for days on end is because not just the processor, but also because of the second screen that's on here. So, I mean, I know that there's certain things that are different about. I need to see this 4100 in like a Skagen. I need to see it in like a What are some other ones that might be good? Like a new
Well,
Moto
Fossil,
360.
Moto 3, a new Moto,
Hmm.
but the way that at least Mob Boy's done it, and shout out to Michael as well. Is like we didn't know we were doing it with the both Mob Boys sitting together, and Dave and Unlocker or David Kogan's going to be also kind of going back to shoot. Got to do the work, the actual work that we got to do. But thank you for hanging out with us, David. Um, I love the way they've done it with the UI element, the updates. They're working on the MR2 update, and even prior to that, it's so solid by comparison to any of the other smartwatches I've used that are Android Wear based. I want to see the benefits for that, and I think this is finally a solution that can basically be pushing the envelope and getting us back in love with Android Wear. This is truly
Yeah.
a great watch. If you've ever thought about it, that the TicWatch 3 Pro is the watch to start with. Get that one, and you'll fall in love. The UI, the
We just
launcher,
need
all
to see, we need these processors to go into more stuff. I mean, this past CES, the Fossil Group announced some smartwatches and they were all still using 3100. And it was like, what? Why would you do that?
I don't, and I don't really have that much insight into the development cycle of a smartwatch. Being it, I mean, if it's the same development cycle as a smartphone, but yeah, why? Like the 41s was announced some time ago, and I think the only one at this point is Mobvoi with the TicWatch 3 Pro. I don't know of any others that are actually jumping on right away.
Yeah. Jaime just asked, did Wear OS get better? No, but
No,
the
Wear OS is
the short answer is no. The longer
no.
answer is the 4100 does make it smoother. It is better. It is nicer. It is
It's
slightly better
4100
user
plus 1 gig.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it did help. All I'm saying though is that having, God, I can't believe I'm the one saying this, but I had been using the Apple Watch for quite some time, and I will admit, like as Jaime has said on multiple occasions, it is the best wearable. It simply is the best wearable. There's so much support for Apple Watch OS that I wish was on Wear OS. Certain applications that I use, like Michael, Wear OS has been getting better over here without recognition. I agree
Yeah.
with you in some aspects, but Michael, we both use Authy, and Authy is not supported on Wear OS. That's one thing. I use Simple to track my fasting. It is not supported on Wear OS. So like these are all things that need to, like, it's not necessarily Wear OS's fault. It's the developer's fault for not supporting
Yeah.
Wear
I was
OS.
about to, yeah.
But still, it's still I need the others. I need those other things. There is one application that is a game. It's always been one of my go-tos for Wear OS, and it's Sleep as Android. It is to
Okay.
me still the best sleep tracking app. If you're just relying on apps, if you're not relying on specific wearables, use Sleep as Android. It's a fantastic sleep tracker, and it works on Wear OS.
Even Google is not recognizing it, dude. Oh no, there's no question, and Michael's exactly the same thing. Apple is, for as far as well integrated ecosystem around a smart wear or like smartwatch wear system, not Wear OS, but like just the way Apple's been doing it, the integration, the support. Yes, absolutely, like hands over foot there. That's the system where everything is showing, and I'm hoping to see more development. But the 4100 has improved the hardware part of it so much with the 1 gig of RAM. At least it doesn't feel like it's slow. The stuttering, the concerns that you used to have with Android with Wear OS, where over time it's slowed down a little, is just not here. This has been seriously, with every update, it gets better. Solid 3 days worth of usage if you don't do any workout exercises. With exercise, at least a 2.5 day, and it charges pretty quickly. So I can't say bad things about it. Let's say that.
I will admit that there's the extra things that you would use in a smartwatch, like replying to messages, whether it's through voice or keyboard, stuff like that. I don't really use that a whole lot, and I don't know if it's gotten any better or any worse.
It's pretty.
But
I respond to Telegram messages through it, and it works really nice. But yeah,
okay, because I will admit that with these Amazon frames, one thing that I do like is that it gives me notifications, but it doesn't give me it doesn't ask me if I want to reply. That's just an extra step that I have to say something and hope that it gets me and blah blah blah. But instead it gives me a beep and then it goes Telegram. And then it's up to me to swipe on the side to have it read to me what the notification is.
I
Like
like
that's
that.
nice.
That actually is
So
a nice touch. Yeah, don't bombard me with all the notifications. Give me like it's the best way to give you what we used to get from the, I forgot the name, and Google's approach to wearable glasses was all the notification kind of came up visually. This is nice. Just basically just let you know there's a notification and you can interact with it if you want. Because if you have buds in your ear, it automatically reads all of them. Michael's jumping in with the killer feature for me for Wear OS is the style choice. You can get watch that looks like anything on Wear OS, and Apple Watch is pretty much just Apple Watch, you know.
Yeah,
and
Apple. I still hate that they use the word watch because it doesn't. To me, it doesn't look like a watch. It looks like a great wearable.
Yeah,
it does
it
not
totally
look like a great watch.
There's very like even the hybrid ones. We've seen different versions of smartwatches that are classic, classic timepieces with like smart features integrated into them. So there's a lot of features, a lot of different ecosystem from a design standpoint. Yes, this could be like, when somebody sees this, they'll think it looks like a watch. They know it's a watch. But Apple's cornered the whole, rectangular shape, and we've seen other companies also carry. But I wish we had more selections on the Apple side. Maybe make one that looks like a watch.
And you know what? Like another trip down memory lane, yet another thing that I saw back in my going back and watching a bunch of old things was the time when Michael and I bought the Pebble 2 together. Like the Kickstarter went live when we were at a pre-briefing, and our attention just left. Our attention left the pre-briefing, and we were sitting across from each other, and we were just like, "You're getting it right. You're gonna get it. Which color are you gonna get? Do you want to?" So we were big Pebble fans. A part of me kind of wants to resurrect mine because there is a crowdsourced software. I think it's called Rebel, which is dope. But yeah, a part of me wants to resurrect it. I hope it still works.
I remember you had a very interesting band around your Pebble Watch
It's actually the one that I have on the TicWatch right now. It's the Hammer Band.
Okay, yeah, no,
yeah, it's good.
And then Jaime coming back with it's fine. I'll unbox it. Like, you got him. So he's
credits all around. Like we do work with a lot of stuff, and it's just trying to get through queues and all of that. The word queue is like just stuck in my head all the time. Like there's so many things I have to get through
because it is a queue. It truly is an absolute queue, and after a while it becomes a tidal wave if you don't take care of the queue.
Yeah, and imagine what happens if you don't take care of the queue because you can't take care of yourself. That's the tidal wave that TK is talking about. So yes,
it is, and you need to always be aware of it. Michael I reviewed the nerds. In principle, lack problem with Wear OS. It comes from less than a gig of RAM. In my experience, processor is always secondary. I agree.
Fair.
It's the most Wear OS devices that we've seen all for some reason stuck to the 512. And almost nobody, because we saw some of those improvements when we were with the 2400 and the 3100 with Mobvoi. They went to 1 gig early with the Pro. I think it was the last one that you and I reviewed, right? That the LTE one on Verizon. That was one of the first ones they decided to go on with the 1 gig of RAM on them. Remember when we went to the 626 night market and we were testing out Telegram and voice notes?
That's right.
You and I go way back when it goes to Mobvoi. That was the LTE model, and they gave it. You're right. The RAM was always a better choice. Increasing RAM over speed on the processor will always be better, especially with the last few generations that we had.
And also, like talking on those watches was not as cracked up as it was meant to be. Like we tried to talk to each other via the voice, like walkie-talkie stuff, and it was fine, but we were in a very crowded place. We couldn't really hear each other.
It was a very, like, seriously, I had it next to my ear. My wife and my son came with us during that time. And it was definitely, I was geeking out, but yeah, definitely not necessarily the best, but voice dictation worked quite well. So when I was using it to speak to the watch, it actually recognized it quite nicely. It's just the speaker was just not strong enough. It's pretty much that. If you have Bluetooth headphones connected, definitely better. Oh man, go back to all the, we're all, the fossil in this part. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bit jelly of the designs that we see with Fossil and stuff, but I want them to start using more newer processors and give us a little bit more, the performance that you expect at that price range, not just the looks, because they got the looks. There's no question.
Well, I would say, I think I've said this on 1 or 2 occasions. This was back in the day too. It's just, I want regular watch manufacturers to learn a thing or two from smart watch manufacturers. Like for example, wouldn't it be great if you could get a regular Fossil, but it had just a vibration motor for alarms?
Yeah, that would.
I'm not even talking about hybrids.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm talking about a
No,
regular watch that just has vibrations.
I saw David Amell is he loves the hybrid options.
The hybrids are great.
Yeah.
The hybrids are great. It's just, yeah, like just throw a little bit in. Like I feel like they could have some fun with it and just like learn a few things from the smartwatch side. That's why the hybrids became a thing, sure. But I think like a good vibrating motor. That's the other thing. The TicWatch 3, is it Pro 3 or 3 Pro? 3 Pro?
I want to say it's the 3 Pro.
Okay. The 3 Pro has a terrible haptics engine.
3 Pro, just check the box.
Oh, okay.
It's
the
sitting
3 Pro
actually.
this has a terrible haptics engine. I barely feel this watch.
I miss quite a few of them as far as notification. I tend to feel the phone vibrate more than the watch.
Yes.
And then when I check the watch later on and I'm like scrolling, I'm like, oh, the notification was there. I just didn't feel it. That could be on the next box, the TicWatch 4 Pro.
Yes.
Michael was also mentioning here the fact that one of his favorite watches for conversations was the big old Gear S.
The old Gear S.
The Gear
I never
S
got a chance with that. The closest thing we have to that right now is the Nubia.
Oh man,
that one. And we still need to have. TK froze again. I wonder if it's an internet connection thing. On the topic of that wraparound display that the Nubia has. Oh, there you go. He's back. I can't hear you though, buddy. Oh, look at that. Like things have been resetting behind him. Yeah. So you're still resetting stuff. But yeah, on the topic of, I can't hear you now. You'll figure it out. On the topic of the wraparound watches and displays and whatnot, it would have been so cool to have like one of those snap bands. And if the entire snap band was like an e-ink display, like a few people were saying in the chat, that would have been really dope. Like I would love that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, TK, I still can't hear you. I don't know what happened. Can the chat hear him? Not that it really.
You know what? It's because it muted itself automatically
when you got kicked out. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you know what? This time, because the power jumped back right away and the laptop was powered, I didn't technically lose connection because I learned my lesson. I didn't jump back on the home Wi-Fi. Something is going on with the wind in our area. I don't know if you guys are, if you're not in LA or at least in our area, we're dealing with a massive amount of wind problems going on. So I really hope the power doesn't totally tank, but we'll have to. I'm glad that this one was a little bit easier to get back from. Let's just say that. I do want to say thank you very much, of course, to Fat Produce, Andrew Wallace, of course, Wear OS on a smartwatch with an e-ink or e-paper display, obviously, #drooling. I'm with you. I'm with you as well.
Just wait for it. Amazon's going to make an Alexa watch with the Kindle display on it. Like I would love that personally. I had a chance to play with the Nubia one for quite some time, and I literally just had to send it back about a week ago. It's a very interesting approach, right? The watch itself is very futuristic. I love the ecosystem on it. I just wanted more. I wanted more support, and I felt like in the month and a half that I had it, I didn't see other than one update. So we want to see more technologies and maybe more durability, because with e-ink, especially when you're wrapping it, you want to have more durability on it. I was always worried I was going to bang that watch against something. With the Mobvoi, I don't care what my hand hits. I know the watch is going to be there. You know what I mean? Yep. It looks like Michael's calling it a show.
I appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much for hanging out with us, kicking it on this Saturday afternoon, because we are in the afternoon, on literally the longest running podcast I've had to run forever. Almost as long as the one that we were on when you and I and Josh, you and I and Juan were on that one time when you jumped in on the best of our week. It was a total impromptu, and it was there.
It was even at that point that Juan was like, "Guys, it's way past my bedtime."
It was way past at that time. Yeah, no, definitely. But thank you to everybody for hanging out with us. We are at around 2 hours and 41 minutes at this point. We're definitely with 2 power outages, and we're still going.
Yeah,
that's the part I'm loving. If you weren't on the show, always love hearing your voices, and can't wait to see you guys both again in real life. Absolutely. Yeah. Same here. But yeah, it's one of those shows that I could not have planned. It was not foreseen, and seriously, it was like one thing after another, everybody joining in, all the love, all the support. And of course, Michael, yourself, Kogan, Emel, and of course, Jaime are all inspirations. And we all obviously listen to your shows. We watch your shows. We always follow. So I appreciate this conglomeration of tech YouTube space, both LA and New York, kind of clashing together, and was not going to be stopped. And in a weird way, saved by a T-Mobile hotspot on an S21 Ultra. No, seriously. If I was not running this on my laptop, if I had chosen to go on a PC, like a desktop, the whole thing would have gone like kaput, and it would have taken me 15 minutes to be back up and running, turning on all of that. So yeah, always. So with that being said, I do want to say, I think it's a kind of a good timing, roughly, to kind of like bring it together. And I want to thank everybody that's in the show, everybody that had a chance to hang out with us: Joe, Chemi, Matt, Tyler, Greg, Gary the fireman, of course, everybody jumping in, Marilyn, Michael Fisher, of course. I'm not going to say Mike. I'm not going to say it. Hashtag.
Sponsored by T-Mobile.
I will expect the check in the mail. No,
binge on, my friend. Binge on.
on an amazing side note, though, one thing to say: once I went up to the S21 Ultra, if there's one thing that kind of like culminated the amazing thing, my internet speed on T-Mobile shot through the roof. Like I'm locking into 250 down with 60 up on my phone, and I can't even get that on my Wi-Fi. So yes, definitely shout out to T-Mobile, and I wish it was sponsored, but it's not. We wish. We all wish. No, exactly. But yeah, no, dude, seriously, Jaime, massive inspiration. When I was with him at IFA a few years back, I learned so much, and I still learn every day, and it's always a massive source of information, of course. And Josh and I, we got to set some time and maybe go down to the zoo and test out some of these cameras, and of course have some fun. So it is absolutely TK #TK Mobile. Oh my God, that would Mr. Yeah, I like it. I like the twist. And yes, no, the S21 Ultra has a lot of cool things going on for it. I love
another thing in the queue. My goodness, yeah,
you got it.
That's my upcoming week. So that is what I'm going to be focusing on this upcoming week, and also catching up on other things, of course. So yeah.
We all do, and but we need to keep making sure to focus on our mental health and where we are in getting back into a normal routine. So things are getting better. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully, within the next few months, we're going to start seeing some more and more people getting into a better place. And be safe, stay safe. Connect with your friends and family. Call that person that you haven't talked to for some time. They will always appreciate hearing from you, because that is just how we are. We need to connect. We need to stay connected. Josh, again, thank you for the surprise jump and the mountain of great things that came along as the chat and the live stream kind of just went on. To truly be one of, to this day, I can't say enough. This is literally the best Saturday Morning with Tech I have ever hosted, and I guess 59 was the number. It was on 2/20/2021 that all of this culminated. So see you guys. Have a great day. Always sponsored by the
God, I hope one day they do that.
Oh man, they got it.
Wouldn't that be great if we did like a podcast? It's like, this episode is brought to you by the CDC.
And I'd love to see how the conversation goes from there. Yeah, it's like you started off with that. But take care, everybody. Stay safe. We'll see you guys next Saturday, and don't forget the day after that on Sunday will be the B Alpha event. I'll see you guys then. Take care. Thanks, everybody. Oh man.